Jason Pierre-Paul will be game-time decisions against the Patriots on Sunday night. Gronkowski has sore ribs, and Pierre-Paul has hand and shoulder injuries. ESPN's Jeff Darlington is already in Foxborough.
I mean, the environment is going to be electric. As much as they're trying to say, even here, to dismiss the hype, we all know when we get there and it's a half hour before kickoff, you're going to be seeing sparks in the air. It's going to be so electric.
Jeff Darlington on KJ and Max. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson on the practice field today after dealing with a sore back earlier in the week. He appears likely to play Sunday against the Broncos. It's the last weekend of baseball's regular season, but will the American League wildcard race be settled by Sunday? Right now, 4 teams are separated by just 3 games. The Yankees hold the top spot, 2 games ahead of the Mariners and Red Sox, tied for the second spot. The Blue Jays are 1 game behind Seattle and Boston. Also still to be decided, the National League West title. The Giants enter the weekend 2 games ahead of the Dodgers. Both teams are playing at home this weekend. San Francisco hosting the Padres. Los Angeles hosting the Milwaukee Brewers.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
All right, let's settle this once and for all. Right to start off the show. Fresh from the airport, Jags lose 24-21 on a walk-off kick. But you would have gone for it on 4th and inches, Austin Lane, right before the half. I'm going to watch the game right here at Extreme Wing Sports Grill. NFL Network just kicked it off, a replay. And when it gets to right before halftime, 14-0, 4th and inches after a Laviska Shenault catch, you would go for it. You would not kick the field goal. Don't give me that hindsight stuff, Austin Lane. Don't play conservative on me. You would pick go for it, but with a different play call. Like, how about a quarterback sneak with a 6'6" quarterback?
Not even a different play call. Just make the right read. You know, I mean, I would, first of all, I would definitely go for it. You're on the road. You're up by 14. You're going for the dagger. You're going for the throat. You've been running the ball all game. I absolutely go for it. Not mad at that whatsoever. Not necessarily even mad at the play call. Now, if it was me, you know, do I line up under center? Do I try to do a QB sneak? Do I try to get James Robinson between the tackles? Probably. That's probably what I would do. But the play was there. Trevor just has to see it and make the pitch. And then we're not talking about this right now.
So, you know, that's one thing. We don't get the luxury of seeing it over and over and over or rewinding it when you're in the press box. Saw it a couple of times. Logan Wilson made a heck of a play at the goal line, too, at impact, which you can't take away from him. He really made a good play. But if he pitches it to Robinson, does he still have a guy to beat, or is it a walk-in?
It's essentially a walk-in. I mean, there could be a guy like, I don't know how fast the guy is. I'm not sure how fast he's going to read it, all that stuff. You know, there's a lot of uncertainties that it's just hard to predict. But if you watch it happen live, I think if he pitches that ball, James Robinson's in no problem.
Yeah, you know, it's the crazy part about that play, and now we're talking 2 plays really in 5 days that feel like they cost the Jags the game, right? I mean, definitely changed the momentum in this one. 14-0, then goes to 14-7. Now you got a 1-score game because Cincinnati got the ball to start the second half, went down and scored, boom, just like that inside 2 minutes. And you knew it was a ball game. I actually thought the Jags responded nicely on offense to get it to 21-14 and give themselves a chance, but the defense couldn't stop anything. We'll talk all about that. But when I saw them go to shotgun, I'm telling you, before the play, there was a little time, right, because they had the measurement. Was it a fumble? I think it was a review or something. And we're just, you know, we're sitting actually right in front of Trent Baalke. I think Baalke at one time was like, hey, you guys are a bunch of coaches down here, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you got a 6'6" guy, and you're at the half-inch line. And, I mean, quarterback sneak, and I think maybe it was Duraco or something sitting next to me, said bootleg. One of those plays. But as soon as whatever it is, as soon as you saw him line up in the shotgun, like, I put my hands over my face. You know, I'm like, what are we doing? You're at the half-inch line. You just backed up to the 5. Like, why did they do that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, why go backwards before you got to go forwards for a half an inch?
Here's what I don't understand, though, is that we're harping on the coaching staff, and I'll be the first one to do that in terms of play calling. I get that. But the play was there to make.
Yeah.
Trevor has to pitch the ball. Like, why is Trevor Lawrence not getting any kind of scrutiny for that play?
Yeah, I guess because what you said, if it was a walk-in, he pitches it and he's in, I still thought there was a guy out there that he'd have to beat. So I'm not convinced 100% he would have walked in. You're a little bit more convinced that he would have scored and should have pitched it in. So, yeah, sure, Trevor, kind of like the pick six, Trevor has blame in the pick six. It's like, how did we get to the part where Trevor gets blamed? I think it's certainly a question as well. And listen, this is a guy right here. And by the way, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane starting a Friday hot here, coming off a Jags loss, number 19 in a row, 0-4. We're at Extreme Wing Sports Grill, Roosevelt Boulevard. Come on out, say hello. We'll be here until 6 o'clock. Then we got a big night of Friday night high school football. But I've been a big advocate the last couple of weeks for Bevel, too. Like, I think Darrell Bevel has done a really good job these last two games. I think he's in a rhythm with his offense, with his quarterback. I think he's doing a terrific job. In fact, this is about the only call I can go back on and say, I don't know if I would have done that. And, of course, when it doesn't work, you do that. Same thing with the pick six and the flea flicker last week. It's like, well, it would have been a touchdown if it worked. Like, if it was executed, it would have worked. This play, what you're saying, Austin, if it was executed, it would have worked. So there's certainly some fairness to that. You just sometimes got to be careful as an offensive coordinator. I think this is hard. Like, I genuinely think it's hard to not outsmart yourself. And I think in last week's pick six and this one here yesterday, I kind of feel like he outsmarted himself. He got a little too cute on critical plays, and, well, it comes back and bites him.
Yeah, I think to me there's a difference between the flea flicker from, your own side of the field and just essentially a read option that you've ran the entire game. The flea flicker, a lot of things has to happen correctly, obviously, right? I mean, first of all, the defense has to bite on it. Second of all, you have to block it correctly. Third of all, obviously the cornerbacks, you anticipate that they have to bite on it as well. So there's a lot of things that go into making a flea flicker work. And obviously timing is one of those things as well. With that play last night, literally all it is, well, either you keep the ball, you read the defense, or you pitch the ball. Like, I understand, like, you don't want to give Trevor Lawrence too much, but was that too much on that fourth down?
No. Yeah, I mean, listen, like you're saying, I mean, he's got to make the read and then do that. He obviously thought he could beat the one player. He had beaten players, in those situations during that game. That play had worked with him running the football for a couple of yards. All he needed was an inch. So I guess I can get to his mentality, but it didn't work out. So he too made the wrong read on it. And by the way, this is a game where Trevor Lawrence made a lot of the right decisions. Not many wrong decisions in this game. And so he should have done it. Overall, I mean, here's where we're at in Jacksonville with the Jags and really all across the country when you think about the Jags. That play goes awry. They're still up 14-0 going into the break, and everybody thinks they're going to lose. This group of people have to get over that. Not the fans. This group, this coaching staff, Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, whatever else, they have to get that fixed because you can't be up 14-0 in the NFL with 2 quarters of play to go and dominating the game, and everybody in town thinks you're going to lose because that play failed. Like, it's unbelievable. I mean, they were up 14-0 still, Yeah. And by the way, everybody was right. They found a way to lose. So they have got to figure that out because that's the kind of feeling we have in town, right, on a Friday, 4 weeks into the season. And that's inescapable right now because it's just happened. 19 in a row has happened. And I feel that. And I tried to guard against that. Like, I am not that guy. Like, okay, whatever. Just go keep scoring. And even when it got kind of tight, it got 14-14, they go down and have a huge drive. So I was like, okay, that's a heck of an answer. They're just going to find a way to win this game. Not the Jags, man. Not the Jags. They are the Lions of last week. They find a way to lose the game. And even if it's a bad call, like think about the play clock going down for the Lions. Think about 4th and 19 for the Lions. Think about Justin Tucker, 66 yards off the crossbar for the Lions. Right now, the Jags are the Lions. The Lions are the Jags. They can't find a way to win because they're bad. And until somebody makes a play that's a winning play, and they made some plays yesterday, none in the second half on defense. But until somebody does that, that tide cannot be turned. And this 4th and inches play is another example of it. They could have put the game away, essentially, if they get in.
Absolutely. And when you analyze this game of what transpired, obviously the first half, you don't convert the 4th down. Like I said, I mean, I think James Robinson has the edge all day. I believe it was Hollister out there that set the edge. So unless a corner or a safety wanted to make the play of his life, there is no way they're going to stop James Robinson going forward. So, to me, that falls on Trevor. But when we talk about going to the half and you're up by 14, well, then this is where halftime adjustments come in. And it's always the conversation that we have on this show. It's almost like what came first, the chicken or the egg. Well, who do we blame more? Do we blame the players or do we blame the coaches? The players played fantastic the first half, right? It was a great showing. Halftime comes up, halftime adjustments are made, and then it's a completely different product the second half. So do I want to sit here and say, well, the players got to play better? Well, obviously. Yeah, because we saw it. We saw confusion when the Cincinnati Bengals wanted to go 5 wide and then everybody in the backfield. And you didn't know, who was taking who. You saw the confusion with Myles Jack. You saw the confusion with Shaq Griffin. You saw all of that. But at the same time, this has to come down to coaching, too, to make sure to say, hey, if they go 5 wide, here's what we got to do. If they do crossing patterns, we got to switch off or we stay on our guy and man because we've seen this story before. This is what you saw last night in Cincinnati in terms of the halftime adjustments. They didn't really do anything that we haven't seen before. This team hasn't seen before this year. Crossing patterns out of 5 wide. You should know how to stop that. And last night, the Jacksonville Jaguars had zero answer for it.
Yeah, their defense yesterday in the second half. I mean, they pitched a shutout, man, in the first half. This defense is not that good. We have said that. We know that. So to see a team run up and down the field on them, I'm not super surprised. To see quarterbacks throw them for 300, I'm not super surprised. If they ran for 180 yards, I'd be more surprised. They're really just trying to stop the run and then almost hope for the best at times, it feels like, or just somebody make a play in a critical spot, which we thought we got from Gotsis on the sack, and then there was a holding penalty, right? So, but overall, I mean, that half, they had 4 possessions. It was 10 plays, 12 plays, 10 plays, 10 plays. I won't give you the yardage in the time of possession, but you get the idea. It was touchdown, 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 walk-off field goal. Would have been a touchdown if they needed a touchdown, right? Everybody knows that. And they could not stop them. They seriously made no plays in the second half. And I don't know how that is. I'm surprised Joe Burrow didn't just, make a bad play. He didn't make a bad play. He was 17 of 20, I think, in the second half. I mean, it was just everything had to go right for the Bengals, and it did. Everything had to go wrong for the Jags, and it did. So I think it's a fair question. I would assume the answer to this is both, but I'm not going to let anybody off the hook on that. Are these players not getting it done? Josh Allen, Myles Jack, Shaq Griffin, Tyson Campbell got picked on again. Trey Herndon, I really thought got picked on, and you were right about Boyd. We'll get into that. Or is it the coaching and not doing the right adjustments? Or how about 2nd and 14 calling a blitz where they really hadn't called much on the blitzing all day? I'm not sure they did much of that because if you look at Burrow's numbers, I think he's very good against the blitz so far this year. They call it on 2nd and 14, and then that's the play that goes for 25 because Burrow checked out of it. That's bad play call at the wrong time by Joe Cullen. So I would say somewhere in there, I don't think the players are great for the Jags on the pass defense side, Austin. So I think it does fall back on coaching. They needed to come up with something in the last 2 possessions for Cincinnati to slow them down, and they flat out couldn't do it.
So, if we go back to yesterday and we talked about the Bengals' identity, they want to run Joe Mixon. They have a pretty good running game. And as you break this Jaguars defense down, it's all about stopping the run. So, I thought, in terms of what the game plan was going to be for the Bengals was going to be a little maybe uncharacteristic, but they're going to throw nonstop with Burrow. Now, they started out doing that. They started to go back to the running game in the second half, and much to my surprise, they had some success, so then it was all working for them. But the biggest thing that I saw, and it really comes down to 2 things, and I've already mentioned it a little bit here. It comes down to when you line up, when I say 5 wide, it means there's nobody in the backfield. It's literally a shotgun. It's empty, and you let your receivers, your tight ends, whatever you got, do work. Those 5 guys for the Cincinnati Bengals last night were better than the 5 guys that the Jaguars have right now. And that, it doesn't take any kind of expert to realize that. But what the frustrating part is that when you have an empty backfield and you have 3 guys on one side, 2 guys on the other side, there was confusion. There was confusion from the linebackers. There was confusion from the safeties. There's confusion from the cornerbacks of what exactly do we do here? What kind of coverage do we have? If we're man, do I pass off the crossing pattern or do I stay on him? And that was what you saw all night. Now, yeah, obviously they're playing a little too shallow. A little too deep on these receivers too, maybe giving them a little too much respect. And sometimes that happens. But what was really alarming to me, and the biggest thing that I took away from this defense, and yes, the pass rush can do better, right? But let's be honest, Burrow was getting the ball up pretty fast. Didn't have a lot of time to work back there. So when that happens, you got to move up a little bit if you're a cornerback. And you got to figure out what you're going to do in terms of communication. And when they went empty backfield last night, you just didn't see that from this Jaguars defense.
Well, listen, and you're right. But the other part of that is I saw a stat, Austin. I think he had 2.73 seconds on average to throw. Burrow did. So they're not getting home. Gotsis got home one time. Smoot and Gotsis got home another time, but very little pressure on Burrow. He sat back there. He still can create with the legs, even though he's coming off the knee injury, and he did that especially on the tight end touchdown throw. That was a good play by Burrow, really. I mean, you're asking guys to cover for a long time. They actually flushed him. They got a little pressure, and then he found the opening, and that almost was deflected by Miles Jack. I'm going to ask you about Miles Jack and Josh Allen a little bit later, but I think you're right. I mean, those five guys and Boyd against Herndon and Campbell's getting beat up. Again, I'm seeing stats on Twitter. I don't know how accurate they are, but people are sharing them. 10 of 11 against Tyson Campbell last night. Burrow was. I mean, the rookie's having some trouble, I mean, that's not a good stat. He can't make a play. Shaq Griffin, about the only one that made a play downfield. That was questionable. Might have been interference. Once they slow-mode the video, it was really close. But so not only are they getting beat up with the five wide, but they really can't get anybody to get to Joe Burrow last night, and he's got all day to sit there. So I know it's complimentary, but which one's the bigger problem right now? The fact that you just don't have the horses out in the secondary to defend these teams and these guys, or you just can't get somebody to come up with a big pass rush when you need it.
I mean, to me, and it falls into both categories here, but to me, I'm more concerned right now with the back end of things. Because like I said, I mean, you threw the number at me, but like if you want to take the average of the, every single drop back, well, all it takes is one long scramble and that average goes up. Like what I was watching was Burrow was getting the ball up pretty quickly, especially in the slot to Tyler Boyd. So it makes it very hard for a pass rusher to work a move to get in the backfield when the ball is coming out quickly. So if that's the case, that's where the secondary has to be on the same page in terms of what kind of coverage they're going to run and who's taking who. And if that's the case and a guy can't handle him, well, then maybe make an adjustment there, right? So I would say to me it falls more on the secondary just from the footage that I've watched in terms of how fast the ball was coming out of Burrow's hand.
Do you think Herndon just couldn't keep up with Boyd? You mentioned that yesterday. You said you think they're going to come out throwing. You were right. Then Boyd against Herndon could be a bit of a – do they have anybody to cover and keep his speed? You think he's really underrated. He proved it last night. Chase got his, but it wasn't like he went off for 180 yards. But Boyd had, like 118 or something. So did you look at that as rust for Herndon? I looked at it like he was getting picked on. What did you see?
I mean, I just saw a team that wanted to give Tyler Boyd the ball. I think, obviously, Herndon had trouble keeping up with Boyd. And I've said it before, Boyd's a very underrated slot receiver in this league. So, I'm not surprised that he had a good game. I guess I am surprised that he had, these long 30-yard, 40-yard catches. I figured it would be kind of been 10 yards here, 10 yards there, 8 yards here. I didn't foresee him having the long ball a couple times. But is that Trey Herndon's game, the slot? I don't know. If I'm being honest here, I was always kind of hesitant of it. What I thought the plan was going to be was they're going to have C.J. Henderson, they're going to have Shaq Griffin on the outside, and then Tyson Campbell in the slot, because that's kind of what we heard in training camp a little bit. Obviously, that didn't come to fruition. C.J. Henderson's gone. Tyson Campbell's the two corner now, and now you have Trey Herndon playing in the slot. Would it get easier for Trey Herndon if it was somebody else, unlike Tyler Boyd? Absolutely. But sometimes you play against great players. And you saw last night a great player who can run routes, who they target on, you essentially just got beat. And you got beat nonstop, and the Jaguars didn't have an answer for it. And I'm not sure what the alternative would have been. I'm not sure if you take Herndon out and who you put in for him. So that's just another example right now of when there's five guys out there, in an empty, or there's four guys out there, those four guys were better than the Jaguars' 4 or 5 guys last night.
Yeah, and that is part of it. People, you don't want to admit that or go back to it. You have, there's not a huge talent gap, but sometimes there is a gap in how many you have. And right now, this is a 1-15 roster that we can question some of the moves they've made, some of the free agents, how impactful are they? Some of the draft picks, how impactful are they? Well, the Jaguars don't have enough guys. I mean, that's clear as day. That's why many of us predicted the Jags to win maybe 6 games this year, Nobody predicted them to go to the playoffs. They just don't have enough guys. And sometimes that shows up in some of the formations it showed up. And just one-on-one matchups, the Jaguars lost a lot of those last night. All right, we got a lot more to break down in this game. Gish set for the NFL weekend as well. How did Trevor play? Is there any solace in the fact that this team looks like they're getting incrementally better without winning a football game? I can't wait till Austin deals with that one. And Josh Allen, here's my question about the defense. Where's Josh Allen? Because I thought this defense was going to cater to him to make plays and have a monster year, and I'm not seeing much. Is he dropping back too much? That's something fans think.
Let's go ahead and stop with that. No,
disagrees.
Stop. We're not even – no.
And but Austin has some good stats on this, so I like it. And also, I think Miles Jack. Is Miles Jack back to be uncomfortable Miles Jack? Are they putting too much on his plate? Is he playing well? Some of the numbers don't add up with him in coverage yesterday, although he still continues to make some plays. But I think this looks like a disorganized defense at times. Is that Miles? Is it Cullen? Is it guys just not knowing their assignments? A lot of questions about the defense, but specifically around Miles Jack and Josh Allen, if they're going to make any improvements. And then, of course, Trevor Lawrence. He played his best game as a Jacksonville Jaguar last night. What's next for Trevor? We are live at Extreme Wing Sports Grill, Roosevelt Boulevard, near NAS Jacks. Come on out, say hello until 6 o'clock. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Tonight, tracking partly cloudy skies with temperatures staying mild in the mid-60s. From the Action News Jags First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedje.
The weather meter is brought to you by Beards Diamonds. Don't miss Beards BOGO Wedding Band Sale October 8th through the 24th.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wing Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jacks, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wing Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jacks.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution.
I'm Dr. Brown. 98% of patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call Prime Men's Medical Center at 904-664-8217. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
All across the nation, we are here for our communities.
We're doing our part to get supplies where it's needed in order to fight COVID-19 together.
It feels good to be out there to assist our community.
I would like our friends and family to know that your National Guardsmen are always ready and always there.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
He's kept you ahead of storms.
This is going to be a very active afternoon of storms.
He's taken you inside storms.
Look at the Reds then that have shifted a little south of Jacksonville.
And for 33 years, the Chief has seen it all. Forecasting severe weather days in advance. So when storms are headed your way, there is only one meteorologist to turn to tonight, the Chief. The knowledge and experience of Jacksonville's Chief Meteorologist, Mike Burrish. Action News Jack's First Alert Weather, only on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
The American Freedom Tour is coming to Jacksonville. I'm Dean Black, chairman of the Republican Party of Duval County, and it's time for Republicans to get motivated and defend freedom. 2 historic days, Friday and Saturday, October 8th and 9th. Come see Donald Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, Dan Bongino, Dinesh D'Souza, and many, many more. Get your tickets now at DuvalGOP.com. I will see you there.
Hello, you have reached the Crooks R Us Training Helpline. Today, we're discussing the differences between a Safe Touch security system and a do-it-yourself security system.
One's professionally installed and monitored, while the other one comes in a box.
Well, yeah, there's that. As you know, houses with Safe Touch security systems are strictly off-limits to us crooks, for many reasons.
Professional installation and monitoring among them.
Correct. And by contrast, alarm systems that come in a box with do-it-yourself installation are a crook's best friend.
Plus, they have DIY monitoring. No comparison to Safe Touch's two-way communicator.
Excellent point. So to sum up, as crooks, you'll want to avoid any house with Safe Touch security. And tell your loved ones, if they're going to buy something that comes in a box, just make it cornflakes.
Only one security system is truly the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Are you bored from being bored? Then put a little excitement in your life in a great pre-owned from Arlington Toyota. Our friends over at Arlington have over 400 used available. 400! All makes and models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And if your Beacon scores from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. I'm excited. Are you excited? Then shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/September for full details.
I'm Marcus Roberts, and I've been blind since I was 5 years old. I'm a jazz pianist and composer, and I've been fortunate to perform all over the world for more than 30 years. I am also a proud graduate of the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. While there, I had great teachers who specialized in working with blind and visually impaired students. FSDB provided me with many of the essential skills I needed to succeed. The school is a state public school available at no cost to eligible K-12 Florida students who are deaf, blind, or both. FSDB helps students to do more, be more, and achieve more. It prepares them for a lifetime of success. For more information, call 800-342-3732 or visit www.fsdbk12.org.
G.J. and Max. It's not just as easy as saying Mac Jones is way better than Cam Newton. I think Mac Jones has a chance to be better than Cam Newton. I still think Cam would have been the starter. G.J. and Max. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Yeah, played well in the first half, obviously, but the combination of run, they were running the ball pretty good on in the third quarter, and then we tightened up against the run, and then they had matchup advantages they felt in the man coverage, and then zone coverage is picking us apart, and then caught us in a zero blitz. So it was obviously the same thing that you saw, that they ran the ball, we're up 14-0, and they go right down the field, hit a deep ball on Tyson, but they were running the ball, and then they came back and just picked us apart throwing the ball.
A gut-wrenching loss for Urban Meyer. I mean, everybody talks about Meyer and the losses and all, everybody's reaction on the sideline. By the way, every time he puts his head down on the sideline, very good advertisement for Bolles.
Oh, nice.
Did you notice that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
No, can't say I did.
Maybe it's not really his pose. Maybe it's more that he is an endorsement with Bolles.
I like it. Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
So, but everybody's so caught up in Urban. It's like they're waiting for him to fall over on the sideline,
Mm-hmm.
And it's here's the deal. He was not happy after the game. I was in that room for the press conference. I mean, he was like, what you couldn't see if you watched the post game is he was like clenching the podium. He was just, that was beside himself at that loss. He really was. Like, that one, no doubt, hit him the hardest. I mean, maybe the first week kind of caught him off guard too.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was tough, like you could tell. And by the way, it should be, right? I mean, it should be hard. Like, that's the thing about it is, this is what I laugh a little about, is everybody sits there and waits and jabs at Meyer for looking like that, or questions body language or whatever. Yet for around, I've been here 14 years, they've lost every year except for one. And about every year, everybody's like, man, I wish they would show some emotion about losing instead of let's just get on to the next one. You know, I mean, which way do you want it, right? I mean, at least he's gutted after a loss, right? I mean, I think the emotion kind of is a relief, is a little bit of a sigh. Like, it just goes to show me, I don't think it's in his DNA. I think they're going to get it fixed. I just asked, is there any solace at all in him getting a little bit better here every week, like noticeably better? Everybody that watches these 4 games knows the Jags have gotten better every week, but they're still getting a loss, and that's not the question of a moral victory. Listen, the Florida Gators got a moral victory over Alabama. No Gator fan will admit it, yet they're extremely happy the day after the loss against Alabama because of how well they played. That's fact. Like, they don't want to admit it, but I'm not asking you to think of a moral victory. The bottom line is this was a 1-15 team now that has a franchise quarterback. Do we see signs of it turning around because of the improvement every week? And what I would say, that's a sign of pretty good coaching that you're getting better every week, Austin.
See, this is the fundamental difference between you and I. No, seriously. So you say, the moral victory thing because you see what this team could be. I see what this team has not accomplished so far this season. And then that's the fundamental difference. I saw a team last night that went them to halftime up 14 and you blew it. And it wasn't just the fact that you blew it, but it was in the fashion that you did where Cincinnati literally had your number everywhere. It was a completely different team. That's where my frustration stems from because we've seen good. But we haven't seen good for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
If you want to take this as a moral victory, so be it. If you want to take Arizona as a moral victory, so be it. But, we come in here every Monday, or for this sake, it's Friday, and we say, they're getting better, they're getting better. Okay, so then with that philosophy, say they get better again next week. What does that mean they're going to win the game?
Well,
because how much better could you be before you start winning games?
Well, I mean, the bottom line is if you really look at their incremental getting better, they weren't in the game at all in the first game. They were in the game at halftime the second game against Denver. They really should have been leading. They were in the game through 3 quarters against Arizona, had a 9-point lead. And in this one, it was tied with 21-21 with 5 minutes to go, and the Jags had the ball. So, yeah, I mean, the next time out, if they keep getting better, maybe they beat the Titans.
But, is this surprise? I mean, but this is the NFL. There's going to be games where they're going to be close. This is the NFL. There's going to be games where you're up by 10, maybe 14 points, and you got to hold that lead.
Well, you're right, but there's a 1-15 team that stinks, though. That's the reality of it. This isn't like, okay. Hey, no, this isn't celebrating like, hey, the Jags were up 14-0, they almost won. This is a reality that the Jags stink. Like they stink.
Yes.
Like we know that. So the reality is at least they might be showing signs of turning a corner in some positions. But here's the bad part of all this that I was thinking today is I'm not sure they could play much better of a first half than they played. They were still up only 14-0 and lost. Like, I really don't know if they can play much better than that. I thought they executed almost – well, not perfectly because they gave up plays on defense, but still they had a 0 on the scoreboard. They got lucky with the missed kick. And then I thought they executed very well on offense to the point where they should have had 3 touchdowns or came that close to 3 touchdowns in the first half, yet you walk out of there and you still lose the football game. So this isn't like, hey, this is what they could be. No, this is who they are. Like, to me, it's the reality of who they are. And at least you're showing some signs of coaching better, getting better, doing some players getting better like Trevor. I think there's something that I'm not taking solace in it. I think this loss sucks. I mean, this is unbelievable that they continue to lose these football games. I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's exhausting, quite frankly. But I mean, it is what it is. They're a terrible football team. That's how they got Trevor Lawrence. And are we seeing some signs that by the time the second half of the year rolls around, they're going to win these football games? I mean, I think that's what you look for. If you're a fan, I'd be trying to look for something like that.
All right. I don't take solace in moral victories. I really don't. I get they're getting better, and that's great. And if fans want to get on board with that, that's cool too. I mean, if you cheer for a team to tank last year, maybe the next step is to take. Well, honestly, I mean, if you cheer for a team to tank last year, maybe the next step is to take these moral victories and feel good about your day. I just see a team that gave up a 14-point lead. They blew it, and in the fashion that they blew it, I think there's still a lot of things that have to be worked out on.
Well, there's no doubt. And by the way, you keep throwing the word phrase moral victory. I tried to squash that right from the get-go. Like, I don't think there is a such thing as a moral victory. I think, like I said, my example to you with the Gators was, if you go back to the week prior and the Gators won the football game, go ask a Gator fan how they felt after they won that game. Like, okay, cool. I still don't know who I am. Are we any good? We're not sure. Go to the next week and they lose to Alabama and ask them on a Monday. They're like, hey, we might be pretty good. Like, that was the feeling. That's a moral victory. That's like, hey, we might be better than we think. See, that's not what I'm talking about with the Jags. This isn't a moral victory. I think everybody's ticked off. Everybody's all that stuff. I mean, you just got to look in between the weeds and what I say, the mud somewhere, and try to find something. And I think everybody's like, I can't believe they lost that. I can't believe they blew that. And then they're like, at least Trevor looked good. At least they're starting to get a little bit better, it looks like. And I think it would be a major red flag, man, if they look like they did against Houston for 3 out of the 4 weeks. Because then I'd go to the coaching and be like, oh, my gosh, what is this? If Trevor throws 3 more interceptions every week, then I'd be like, oh, my gosh, he might not make it, right?
No, for sure. But
so I just think it's a different outlook.
But can't you go to the coaching and say, oh, my gosh, what was that second half?
I think you can, and we did in the first segment. I believe it. I think it was on coaching. I think they got to make an adjustment. And here's why the coaches have to step up, in my opinion, Austin, because they have I've told you this for the last couple of weeks. This is on Darrell Bevell. Bevell needs to get Trevor Lawrence comfortable. That's his number one job. He has to get him comfortable. That means gives it to James Robinson. That means get this kid better, put him in good situations. Well, I thought he did that. I didn't think he did it the first couple of weeks. I thought he did that the last 2 games. And when you're not that talented, then it's up to the coaching to make you as good as you can be. I think Urban Meyer came into this thing and said that. I don't believe in bad players, right? He believes in good coaching. Well, I think he looked at his coaching staff on defense yesterday and said that wasn't good coaching because they don't have great players. That means they've got to coach better than their players, and they didn't do it. I mean, somewhere in there, Joe Cullen, everybody else on that defensive side has to make an adjustment, has to put him in a position to maybe trick Joe Burrow or make a play. And there wasn't one. Jags have been bad for a while. Very few times have I seen, it's probably happened, right? But this is recent memory. Very few times can I remember a half where Austin, I don't think they made one play. Mm-hmm. Like, they seriously did not make one play on that side of the football. I can't remember a play outside of Gotsis, but then that was negated by the holding on the secondary. I don't remember a nice tackle, a breakup, a pass rush, and anything in that second half that I would say, hey, that was a nice play in the second half by the defense. I mean, that's hard to do, isn't it?
No, it absolutely is. I mean, those plays are all over the field for you to make, and that was not the case for this team in the second half last night. Simple as that.
Yeah, let me ask you about this a little later on. We'll talk about Trevor and kind of his development more because I do think that was his best game. I think everybody would agree. Where's Josh Allen? Where's Miles Jack? Miles, I think, has showed up a couple times, but I guess I want to go Josh Allen, you address it now, the dropping back. And I'm with you here, man. I know what you're about to say, but let me just say my 2 cents. We all pleaded and begged around here for a different-looking defense. And now we got the defense. Nobody likes the fact that Josh Allen isn't rushing the passer on every down. But take it away. What's the reality of what Josh Allen's doing?
Let me ask you this. Do you think Josh Allen's dropping back in coverage too much?
I don't. Twitter does.
I don't. Twitter, but a lot of people do. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Well, and I'll also say this. I do see, this is 2 or 3 times now this year, I've seen Josh Allen. I understand this is somewhat rotational. And by the way, I just watched Josh Allen almost deflect and pick off that ball. Would have been a heck of a play by Josh Allen.
Sure.
That's the play they're at late in the first quarter on the replay here at Extreme Wing Sports Grill, Roosevelt Boulevard. Come on out. I've seen him go off the field, Austin, like in the red zone for the opposing team, when it feels like it's a big play. Is that just a rotational thing? And then you can address the dropbacks.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just a rotational thing. It's getting fresh guys in there because sometimes guys get winded And if you're tired, you do more harm than good of being out there. So that's all that is. It's rotational. Ideally, what you want is you want to rotate your four. You want to rotate whether it's defensive tackles, your edge rushers, you want to rotate those guys in and out. Sometimes you can't do that if it's like a no huddle or things like that. But usually 8 or 9 plays, if you're into a series, you want to get some rotation in.
Okay, so take it away on the drop. How much you had a tweet, and I forget exactly what it said. How much is he dropping back?
Well,
why is he dropping back?
So this is why I don't live tweet football games. Yeah. This is why I don't really go on Twitter when a football game is on, because this is what happens on Twitter. And I'm not even sure who Patient Zero is. We'll call this person Patient Zero. But somebody goes, hey, they're dropping Josh Allen back too much. He's got a lot of followers. And all of a sudden, everybody latches onto that. And now their narrative is, oh, yeah, you know what? Josh Allen is dropping back too much. Josh Allen is not dropping back too much. I broke it down. I watched every single play on defense. Josh Allen dropped back 7 times. Josh Allen rushed the passer 21 times. Now, I'm horrible at math, but that's 25% where he actually dropped back. Now, maybe, and then I had people in my mentions saying, well, 7 times is still way too much for Josh Allen to drop back. He's your best pass rusher. Oh, really? Well, then check out these facts real quick, because let's get real in depth with it, because I like nothing more than spending my entire day trying to defend an argument that I shouldn't be having to make, because I want to watch Squid Game, but I only got 1 episode in, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll get into that later. Brent, you ever heard of a guy named T.J. Watt?
I've heard of T.J. Watt.
You know how many times T.J. Watt dropped into coverage last year?
I think you're going to tell me about 27% of the time.
154 times. So if you take 154 and you divide that by whatever you want to do, that's almost 10 times per game he's dropping back into coverage. Josh Allen dropped back into coverage 7 times and we're freaking out. Why?
I like when you're bringing the evidence. That's good, man. You're bringing the evidence. I like it. Well, T.J. Watt might be the best player in the game.
No, and with all due respect to Josh Allen, but even Josh Allen would admit this, T.J. Watt is by far a better pass rusher right now where they're in their careers than Josh Allen. Fair?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what the Steelers think about T.J. Watt. And this is last season, by the way. He's dropping back in almost 10 times per game. I don't hear Steelers fans complaining about it. I don't hear Steelers fans saying, well, he only had like 20 sacks last year. He probably should have had more if they would have. Because that's not the point. All right? This is the scheme. This is the defense. This is what you signed up for. This is a 3-4 defense. Like, I don't know what you want Josh Allen to do here. It's literally impossible to expect him to rush every single time and not dropping back into coverage if you're in this 3-4 defense. A classic example, and this is the video that I saw a lot last night getting passed around. There's a play where Josh Allen drops back, they hit the guy behind him, and everyone's asking why is Josh Allen dropped back into coverage? Well, Josh Allen is on the side of 3 wide receivers, so that's called the strong side, right? And on the other side of him, there's 2 wide receivers. So what do you want Josh Allen to do in that situation when they call a blitz? Do you want Josh Allen to audible out of it and say, hey, guys, I got 3 wide receivers to my side. I'm not supposed to be dropped back into coverage, so let's just throw this whole thing off. Do you want Josh Allen to call a timeout? Or do you want Josh Allen to go to Calebon Chason and say, hey, Calebon, I know the guy's about to snap the ball, but go ahead and take my spot. I'll run over to your spot, and I'm sure we won't get caught with our pants down. Not how it works. This is a 3-4 defense. Josh Allen's going to drop back into coverage. It's not a lot of times. Look at the film. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And that's a good explanation, by the way. I think we need those reminders sometimes. I think, heck, some of us in the media, I think fans, I think you got to, like, again, it's the Bevel conversation to me. Like, everybody's going to hammer Bevel for last week's pick 6 and this call on the goal line. He's been terrific in the last 2 weeks, quite frankly. Like, I think he's been awesome. And finding a rhythm with these. Maybe awesome's a little overrated, but I think he's been very good to get Trevor where he needs to be, so much better than the first couple weeks. Why did it take that long? I have no idea. But I think that's a good explanation on Josh Allen. Now, I will ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
Is Josh Allen not getting enough done?
Well,
because
no, I mean,
he's supposed to be a top 10 pick now, and where is he?
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you watch him, the stats say it, his pass rushers say it, he's not getting enough done. At the same time, is anybody on this defense right now getting it done on the defensive line in terms of rushing the passer? Not really.
No. And I want to stay there for a moment because I'm going to turn it into Miles Jack. And these are supposed to be your playmakers. I thought they were going to set up this defense for these guys. Why isn't that happening? Is it on them? is it not as many plays for them as we thought it might be going into the year? Let's talk a little more about the Jags defense. We're live at Extreme Wings Sports Grill. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 here until 6 o'clock heading into the weekend after another Jags loss.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
At least it's Friday, Jacksonville, because the streak has hit 383 days. I'm Casey Kurtz. The Jacksonville Jaguars lost to the Cincinnati Bengals on Thursday Night Football last night, 24-21. The Jags took a 14-0 lead into the locker room at the half, but allowed 24 in the second half and only scored 7. The Jags will have 10 days to prepare for the Tennessee Titans, who come into TIAA Bank Field next Sunday, October 10th. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp picked up a 7-5 win over the Gwinnett Stripers last night. The Shrimp and Stripers are back at it tonight. First pitch is set for 7:05 and can be heard on our Facebook page, ESPN 690 Jax. On ESPN 690 Radio will be the Blitz Scoreboard Show with Brent Martineau and Kevin Sullivan from 9 to 10:25. This Sports Center update sponsored by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan for the people. What's up? It's Casey of Action Sports Jax. If you can't catch the show live, just search Action Sports Jax wherever you get your podcasts to make sure you don't miss moments like this.
Now, keep in mind, you're sitting next to Mr. Thanksgiving right now, because I absolutely stuffed the stat column.
You sure did.
And they called me Mr. Thanksgiving.
Nobody called
brag.
you. Nobody called you that.
I don't want to brag.
You called yourself that. Maybe.
I don't want to brag. We're talking 4 points.
Yep.
We're talking 2 rebounds.
Yep.
We're talking a steal.
Okay.
We're talking a block.
Yep.
And I almost broke a guy's ankle. I'm just saying, if you find yourselves around some Jacksonville Giants, and all of a sudden one of them starts saying, "Is that stovetop dressing?
Oh, jeez.
What is that? What is that? Is that cranberry sauce?" Oh, Mr. Thanksgiving's in the house. And that's who you know they're talking about me.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Time for an oil change? We've got what you need to check it off your list. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil and an STP oil filter, plus an STP air filter or cabin air filter, all for just $35.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Trevor Noah, back to Abnormal World Tour.
I feel like there should be a rule in America. They should say you can hate immigrants all you want, but if you do, you don't get to eat their food.
Award-winning comedian and host of The Daily Show on Comedy Central, Trevor Noah, live on stage.
No Dominican food, no Asian food, nothing. Only potatoes.
Five-Star Veterans Memorial Arena, Friday, February 11th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. More details at TrevorNoah.com.
Do you have a passion for sales? Are you known for building strong relationships? Do you love to compete and win? CMG Jacksonville is searching for a talented individual to join our family as a media consultant. This position will require a committed person who will forge great relationships with Jacksonville's business leaders and develop profitable campaigns for advertisers. If your talents are a match, email your resume to jaxjobs@cmg.com. That's JAXJOBS@cmg.com or call 245-8732.
Okay, I get it. So the summer season's almost over, but that's why we live in Florida. And that's why our friends at Arlington are doing fall Florida style with hot temps and even hotter deals. Get to Arlington Toyota today because they have 400 new Toyotas available with interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And every new car purchase gets a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Shop ArlingtonToyota.com today. Visit ArlingtonToyota.com/September for full details.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Want to learn a new language so it will actually stick? Try Babbel. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people, so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the culture with short videos. Whatever your learning style, Babbel gives you the tools you need. Babbel. More ways to learn. Start learning a new language today at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hey, it's Brett Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Well, I felt like our defense was, our defense was playing so well. And then our offense, we felt like we were blocking them. James was running the ball. Our offense line was pushing, controlling the line of scrimmage. That's a good sign. That's usually win those games. You take care of the ball, and Trevor, your quarterbacks, getting those first downs. And, yeah, I felt really good.
Jags coach Urban Meyer. Man, sorry for going off the wall a little bit there, Casey. I didn't want you to see that type of me, but I just get fired up sometimes because that's how it is. Like, one person says something, it snowballs, and now Josh Allen is dropping back into coverage too much. It's not the case, okay? This is a 3-4 defense. This is what you signed up for. Enjoy the show. You have a ticket. Get on the ride and enjoy the experience, all right? Josh Allen, I would say, is still dropping back into coverage. But people aren't wrong when they say, well, they're not getting a pass rush, especially when he's dropped back into coverage, in which case you would be right. And this is the fundamental difference between T.J. Watt dropping back into coverage right now and Josh Allen dropping back into coverage. When T.J. Watt's dropping back into coverage, you have linebackers, you have defensive linemen in the middle and edge rushers alike that get after the quarterback, right? Like, that's the beauty of a 3-4 defense. It's the confusion part. This Bengals offensive line last night, I'm sure there were some points where they were confused because they didn't know where the blitz is coming from. They didn't know who was dropping. Was it Chase on? Was it Josh Allen? There was some confusion out there. But the problem is that you don't make a team pay for it because nobody last night was getting after the quarterback. Now, I mentioned it a little bit. Burrow got the ball out fast on some plays, and there you go. But there were some plays where the plays got extended where you got to make a play, where you got to get the quarterback down. And you're just not seeing that right now from this Jaguars defense. And it makes the difference, whether it's on the outside or in the middle. I've echoed this so many times. When the team let Calais Campbell go, that's when they let, Josh Allen's productivity go. Because it all goes hand in hand. If you have the pass rush up the middle, that makes things on the edge a lot easier. If you got to double team somebody on the edge, well, that makes things in the middle easier. And right now with this team, with this front four, there's not a lot of respect going on through this offensive lines when they play the Jaguars.
Austin Lane, let me ask you this about Myles Jack as well, and I don't know if you touched on him. I had to do something real quick TV-wise, but is he making enough plays? Is he putting in a good spot? I tell you, man, sometimes I see this. If I was a team, I would substitute as much as possible against the Jaguars. They look so unorganized sometimes when they have to make these late substitutions, and they can't get in the right spots. Now, I saw Myles look a little lost on a play or two and still made the play, okay? Mm-hmm. So lining up. So maybe I'm wrong, but is he playing good enough football, and are they putting him and Josh in a good enough position to play dominant, playmaking football?
I mean, listen, there's mistakes all around last night, especially in that second half. And especially when we're talking about the tight end for the Bengals. I'm going to butcher his last name. Brent, can you help me out?
Yeah,
Uzomah? CJ Uzomah? Yeah.
He had 5 catches for 95 yards in the second half alone.
Yeah, now with all due respect to him, he's a decent tight end. I don't think he's 2 touchdowns good, right? I don't think he's almost 100 yards good. I don't think he's the highest waiver wire pickup this weekend, fantasy football, good. But here we are. But yeah, I mean, some of this falls on Myles Jack. But I posted a video on Twitter, and the alarming thing is just guys don't know who to cover, Brent. When there's misdirection, and this is when we broke down the Arizona Cardinals game, and I thought it was going to be a blowout, it was because I thought the Arizona Cardinals were going to use nothing but misdirection. And truth be told, they didn't really use a lot of it. They actually pounded the rock a lot more than I anticipated. But that's what Arizona does. They're a misdirection team. The Bengals did last night what Arizona should have did in terms of misdirection. If you look at the balls that went to CJ, Uzomah, it was all about misdirection. It was all about going one way and then getting the tight end going the other way. And it was all about the Jaguars biting on that one way and nobody having the backside of things. Now, whether that's Myles Jack, whether that's a safety, I'm not sure what the coverage was called there. I mean, I'm reminded of one play where Jack kind of throws his hands up a little bit. That's kind of a giant tell that was probably your guy. So, yeah, he didn't play his best game last night. But it falls on a lot more than just Myles Jack or Josh Allen. It falls on everybody in terms of you got to have your eye discipline, you got to stay at home, and you got to communicate. And in that second half, you saw nothing of that sort.
Nah, feels like the old do your job mantra, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just do your job. And again, the Jags have to be a little careful of that when things start going awry and you're not winning games to try to do too much. But nobody's doing anything on that side of the ball in the second half. And I just don't think they're getting enough out of Josh Allen and Myles Jack. If anything else, those guys have to make plays for this defense. They're good. We know they're talented players. They have to make plays for the Jaguars defense. Hopefully that happens starting next week against Tennessee. We're live at Extreme Wing Sports Grill. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz, 2 more hours to go. We talk Trevor when we come back. It was his best game as a pro. What does it mean going forward? It's next on ESPN 690.
Small businesses continue to face many challenges resulting from the prolonged pandemic. Business owners are working hard to maintain customers, adjust operations, and retain key personnel. At SCORE, our highly trained counselors are here to offer their assistance. In Jacksonville, SCORE provides services to almost 6,000 individuals annually. In addition to ongoing mentoring, we are conducting webinars on topics that can provide timely advice. Visit jacksonville.score.org today for links with more information.
Hey everyone, it's Brent Martineau. Meet Relevant, the new group messaging app that drives real-time, authentic conversations. You can now listen and live chat with us during our radio show directly on Relevant. It's a new fun way to interact with your favorite hosts and other listeners. It's easy. Just download the free Relevant app. That's RELEVNT. Simply search for the ESPN 690 community and join the chat. Listen in on the Relevant app for special polls, promotions, and giveaways. We'll see you there.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life? It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Hey, boss. Just got done with Case in Neighborhoods. Hey, have you noticed more Safe Touch security signs in yards lately?
No, I'll bet it's because of back to school.
Back to school?
Yeah. See, back in the old days, parents who worked in the afternoon had no idea when Junior got home from school, right?
Yeah. Oh, but now with Safe Touch, the app lets him know exactly when he walks in the door.
Right. Parents love it. And Safe Touch video monitoring can show him exactly who the precious angel is walking in with.
Oh, I get it. Safe Touch is like an extra pair of eyes for Mom and Dad.
Right. So the kids are never home alone.
And parents are never away from home.
Precisely. It's also one more reason why we crooks got our golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses. Simple as 2 + 2.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
The Women's Board of the Wolfson Children's Hospital proudly announces the schedule for the 2021 Florida Forum Speaker Series. 4-time Super Bowl champion and broadcaster Terry Bradshaw on October 26. Major General Charles F. Bolden Jr., a retired Marine officer, astronaut, and former NASA administrator on November 17th, and Grammy Award winner and songwriter Tim McGraw on February 16th, 2022. The series will take place at the Times Union Center for the Performing Arts. Get your tickets today at thefloridaforum.com.
He's kept you ahead of storms.
This is going to be a very active afternoon of storms.
He's taken you inside storms.
Look at the Reds then that have shifted a little south of Jacksonville.
And for 33 years, the Chief has seen it all. Forecasting severe weather days in advance. So when storms are headed your way, there is only one meteorologist to turn to tonight, the Chief. The knowledge and experience of Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish. Action News Jack's First Alert Weather, only on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Doug Brown. It'll be a game-time decision for two key Buccaneers players on Sunday night against the Patriots. Tight end Rob Gronkowski with sore ribs. Linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul recovering from hand and shoulder injuries. Which team wins this game? Here's ESPN's Rob Ninkovich.
I like Tom Brady. I played with Tom Brady. I think that he is probably going to have a great game when it comes to the matchup, but you just look at these two teams, and I have to go with what I see on tape, and that's Tampa. They're a better football team.
Rob Ninkovich on KJ and Max. Rams running back Darrell Henderson will play against the Cardinals Sunday. He missed last week's game with a rib injury. Colts offensive lineman Quentin Nelson is out for Sunday against the Dolphins with a high right ankle sprain. This will be the first game Nelson has missed in his 4-year career. The 76ers owed Ben Simmons 25% of his pay, $8.25 million today. ESPN has learned that money has been put into an escrow account. Simmons has not reported to camp and says he has no plans to play for the team again.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
We're going to bounce back, I have no doubt. I know what we're made of, just seeing how we've handled the first 3 weeks. I know nothing's going to change, but I really want to get a win with these guys because we've been working so hard and put ourselves in a position the last 2 weeks, really, even against the Broncos had a chance too, and just got to finish. It's collectively, it's everybody. It's not one side of the ball or anything like that. It's just all of us. We're getting there. I'm not even going to say, it's going to take time, whatever. We're right there, and you guys have seen it the last few weeks, and I have no doubt, but this hurts for sure.
That is Trevor Lawrence last night after the football game in Cincinnati. He was probably the most ticked off about that loss than any of the previous three, although the guy doesn't like to lose, hasn't lost much. You've seen all the silly graphics. He knew he was going to lose more games than high school and college combined. Who knew it was going to be the first four, but you knew it was going to be the case in the NFL. Same goes for all the Urban Meyer stats, but I think it's a reminder to everybody. Just shows you how good Trevor Lawrence is, that he won all those times. So I don't think it's a negative thing that they're throwing those stats up. Of course, it's negative. Jags are 0-4, but I think it just says a lot about Trevor Lawrence and how good he is. So maybe those winning days are ahead for the Jacksonville Jaguars. James Robinson, man, he got touches again. He did a good job again. He had a couple of touchdowns, but yet I still leave the game, and I'm like, I don't know if they gave it to him enough. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz, we're at Extreme Wings Sports Grill at Roosevelt Boulevard, coming out until 6 o'clock. Did they give it to him enough, or was that just the game flow, Austin?
I mean, 18 carries, you can't be mad at that. At the same time, Trevor Lawrence got involved in the run game as well, with the read option, which I wasn't mad at either. So, I mean, in a perfect world, Brent, would I like to see James Robinson get up to 20, 22? Absolutely. But we talk about Trevor Lawrence played his best game last night, and I agree with that, by the way. He didn't even throw a touchdown, didn't have an interception. Now he ran for one, so props to him for that. But he had his best game because, they incorporated the running game with James Robinson and himself as well. It's kind of ironic, though, because, I think the game plan going into this game was a good dose of James Robinson and Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde, I think Urban Meyer alluded to this, had some kind of shoulder injury on the way there and didn't suit up. And in doing that, you saw what this offense was capable of when you keep James Robinson out there the whole time and he finds a rhythm. 18 attempts, 78 yards, 4.3 yards per carry. You can win with that. You can be successful with that. And obviously 2 touchdowns to boot as well.
Yeah, he's really good. I mean, he is really, really good. That's what I come back to. I'm like, and again, everybody's like, Brent, we know he's good. I mean, look at last year. But I don't buy that, man. I've been covering this stuff for 20 years. Just because you have one good year doesn't mean you're great. I mean, are we starting to wonder that about DJ Chark? I mean, is that a fair curiosity? I know he got hurt now, and so that's different this year. But he's had 2 subpar years and 1 good year. So we have evidence of this in the past in Jacksonville. And so, but, man, I watch him get the ball. I think he does look quicker. I think his body looks better. I think he's just good. He is just a really good football player. What a find. That's a break for the Jags, that he is that good of a player, and he was undrafted, and they kind of lucked into him, and they made the right call by not cutting him, thankfully, and they made the right call by really unloading Leonard Fournette and letting him do his thing. And so now you just got to fuel that, baby. Keep filling it up. Keep giving it to him. I thought he was more the focal point, even on the Trevor Lawrence runs, and that helps Trevor Lawrence out. We're going to talk more Trevor Lawrence in a bit, but let's talk more James Robinson a bit, because you got to be a big fan of James, and we've got a chance for you to be able to see him. And tomorrow, I believe, we're going to bring in Martin Buckley from Palm Beach Autographs. He's got all the details. I've still got jet lag, even though I only went to Ohio. What's up, Buckley?
What's up, buddy? That was one heck of a lead-in, man. You are a professional.
It's almost like he's been doing this for a while or something, Martin.
Unbelievable.
I teed you up. Did we just sell some tickets for tomorrow?
We did, man. We're expecting a nice crowd tomorrow. We're fired up to have James come out. We're more excited. You know, this is our first public signing in almost 2 years. So we're excited to have the fans come back out. We've done a couple over in Tampa. Everything's gone great. So we're just excited to be able to have this opportunity back in Jax.
Yeah, absolutely. James Robinson, I mean, he's quickly becoming a fan favorite for the right reasons. I just told you why, Martin. And this guy's a good dude. He's humble. He's grounded. He comes, obviously, from, he's this underdog story. These guys must be fun to work with for you, right? I mean, just kind of all this newness, and never thought you'd imagine. You go with Trevor Lawrence. Let's just say you got to work with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has known he's going to be signing autographs someday for the last 10 years of his life. I'm not sure James Robinson knew that, or maybe he did, but it was still unexpected to have the success he's had at the NFL level. How fun is it to work with some of these guys like that?
It's always awesome. It's really cool to work with the young guys when it's an opportunity for them to come out and maybe do their first or second autograph signing. This is James's first one in Jacksonville, unless he's done something with the team, but I don't think they've had any since his rookie year. And, for them, they're excited. It's cool for them to be able to see, general fans, but even when the little kids come up and, they're so stoked to meet their hero and they're wearing their jerseys and, they have their football cards and stuff like that. You can actually see the athletes themselves. I think they enjoy it sometimes just as much as the fans, especially when they're new to it.
All right, I was just going to – oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask, Martin, how much does James Robinson, like his performance last night? Because the guy played lights out. I mean, 2 touchdowns, obviously, if you had him in fantasy, you're celebrating. But, does last night's performance kind of help boost him a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, as these guys, obviously he had a great rookie year. That boosted up. A guy follows that up with another big year. That's when we see their prices increase. Their performance on the field directly relates to what their cost off the field is, whether it's in the collectible industry or the card industry or the memorabilia industry. Absolutely.
Martin Buckley with us from Palm Beach Autographs. The details tomorrow, 1 o'clock. How does everybody go over and meet James Robinson, get stuff signed? What's the protocol, and are there some protocols in today's day and age, I should ask?
Yeah, there's some COVID protocols. We're kind of leaving it up to the athlete's discretion, whether or not they want to do photos and things like that. Everybody's kind of, we're going to kind of have the line socially distanced and everything, kind of what we're all used to. But if people want to come out, they can go to our website, palmbeachautographs.com. Tickets are available to purchase online there, or they can just come to the store tomorrow. He'll be there from 1. he's got a lot of stuff to sign. When people come in, they'll get to look behind the curtain a little bit, but there's a bunch of helmets and mini helmets the boys are setting up right now. So he'll be there for a few hours signing in the back for us, but he'll be available for the public till about 1 till probably about 2, maybe even a little bit after.
All right, so that's tomorrow. Palm Beach Autographs, Avenues Mall. James Robinson be there at 1 o'clock until maybe a little after 2. Go to palmbeachautographs.com to get more info, or just come on by the mall, Avenues Mall, and go visit Palm Beach Autographs. Martin Buckley from Palm Beach Autographs with us. While I've got you, man, let me ask you this. Tom Brady going back to New England. When you have a story like this and a game like this, and it's just been dominating, right? People have been watching it and looking for it, and now everybody's talking about it all week long. I'm surprised they even did a Thursday night football game and just didn't do like a Brady Belichick highlight reel instead. Does his product go up? Like, is this a bump in Brady stuff this week in your world?
So Brady's stuff has had an incredible spike in the last 2 years. He signed an exclusive contract with Fanatics, which, huge deal with them. And what's kind of been interesting, and I didn't even realize this until a couple of months ago, but with Brady being on the Bucs now, they're unable to produce Patriot jerseys. I guess there is some sort of deal in the league where you can't produce a jersey for a current player on a former team. You can sell the existing inventory. So now all of his Patriot stuff has been wiped out. So we've just had probably a 25 or 30% increase on all of his Patriots, primarily jerseys. But his Bucs stuff has been going through the roof. We've talked about this before on the show, just with the industry and the boom. Absolutely, Brady's one of those guys that people are now starting to actually, I know it sounds crazy to some, but people are starting to actually invest dollars and diversify in memorabilia. It's always been Jordan and Tiger and some of the vintage guys. But a lot of these current guys now, they're not signing as much as they used to, and Brady has definitely become one of those guys.
Interesting.
And Martin, in terms of Bill Belichick memorabilia, what is that like for the market right now? Anything good out there? Or how hard is it to get anything autographed or, any kind of Bill Belichick memorabilia?
Yeah, I've got some cutoff hoodies.
Which would be great, really.
Coaches, yeah, really would, actually. I joke, but seriously, that's a good idea. Coaches sell players better. Belichick, we were able to get some stuff. He was part of an event that we do down in West Palm, Florida, and so we did a signing with him when he was a part of the Honda Classic, and we don't have anything left.
Wow.
So everything that we got signed is all gone. Guys like, I think Belichick and Chuck Noll, those legendary coaches definitely have, Tom Landry's, those guys, they have tremendous value as well because of their success as head coaches.
That's pretty good stuff. Martin Buckley from Palm Beach Autographs. We'll be keeping our eye on that game on Sunday. But tomorrow, get on out to the Avenues Mall, Palm Beach Autographs, or go to palmbeachautographs.com and check out James Robinson, Jaguars. Fantastic running back will be out there from 1 until about 2 o'clock signing autographs. So thanks for checking in, man. Good to hear from you, and good luck tomorrow with the event.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the Austin Lane Brett Martinow signing coming up. We're just trying to pinpoint a date and prices.
now that we're out of COVID, we can maybe do that. Yeah, I mean, we've been working on that for a while. So I'm thinking, listen, we're going on about 3-year anniversary of the show sometime in January. So maybe right about then. That'd probably be a good time.
I love it.
We'll work on it. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, that's Martin Buckley, Palm Beach Autographs, otherwise known as America's Guest. That's what I call him.
I like that.
Yeah, he's the man. He's awesome. So that's cool, man. James. By the way, I should say this: James Robinson will be there tomorrow, and James Robinson not Monday, but coming up in the next couple of weeks, and really for a majority of the season, is set to join us on Monday nights on Jags Report Live, 7 o'clock on Fox 30. So he will join us on the show as well. Jihad Ward has been joining us the last couple of weeks. Jihad will be with us on Monday, so we can ask him about that defensive breakdown really in the second half. But then James Robinson will join us for much of the remainder of the year. So it'll be great to have J-Rob out there who's having another fantastic year. Hey, he's got to get the ball more, but he was more the focal point. I think it opened things up for Trevor. I think, again, I'm looking at all these next-gen stats and stuff, and I saw 7 for 7 on play action. I believe it was, for Trevor Lawrence. It opened up the run game for Trevor. It was 36 yards, but it felt bigger than that for Trevor Lawrence because one of them was a touchdown. Heck, we kind of wish two of them were touchdowns.
Sure.
But overall, Trevor Lawrence yesterday set up to succeed, but also looked the most comfortable and obviously played pretty clean football, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence looked good. You know, I enjoyed the little I don't know when I'm going to say it, but, you know, he had a little something to say when he scored that touchdown to the camera. That was nice. You know, I'm not a lip reader, but I kind of got a vibe of what he was trying to say. No, Trevor Lawrence looked good, you know, and if you want to find silver linings, because sometimes on this show we're in the business of doing that, I think Trevor Lawrence on a big stage, national television, I think people came away from that game thinking, wow, Trevor Lawrence, he had some really good throws. I think he had some great leadership, and he looked pretty dang good out there.
Yeah, and here's the thing for me, and you probably notice this more than I can, although we're both not quarterback gurus. You just like to sack them back in the day.
If you see my numbers, you really think I'd like to do that, but go ahead.
You like to at least
I like to
get sworn
like to
at
pressure.
after
hey,
you
no,
get
no,
juked
man.
out.
Hey, I love to pressure him. I love to put, I love to put the clamps down. Now, quarterback sacks, yeah, it's one thing, but the pressures, though, man. I want to make you see me coming, but as far as the pressure, yeah, it's all right.
So anyway, from my I tweeted this earlier today before I took off from Cincinnati and got back home here, and I said you can tell, just even the casual observer can watch his first 4 weeks and see that he's making better decisions. And I go to there was a play yesterday that I thought was really key, and it happened before they ended up, I think, having their second touchdown drive. But it was first down. Might have been their first touchdown drive. It was 1st and 10 right around midfield. And he runs away. He rolls to his right, and he has to come back, and I think he didn't spin on this one, but he rolls back to his left because he's being pressured. And he ended up throwing it away down the left sideline. And I'm not saying he would have taken that sack 2 weeks ago, but just that play made it 2nd and 10 instead of 1st and 17 or 18. Mm-hmm. And they eventually would cash in. But that's what I'm talking about from a decision standpoint. He didn't force much. Like you said, his only bad decision might have been not pitching it to James Robinson. But I don't even remember a ball that was remotely almost picked off. Do you?
No, not that I can say. No, I will say this, though. Probably his best pass of the night, the one to Agnew on the sideline we're all celebrating.
Yeah, he had James Robinson wide open.
No. I mean, well, he did, but no, it was still a great throw. I mean, I think it was a great decision. But the problem with that I had was that if 91, which I think that's Hubbard, if Hubbard doesn't delay and stutter step, it's probably going to be a giant quarterback sack, and it's going to be a huge hit. For whatever reason, Hubbard kind of laid up a little bit. Like, I think he was afraid that he's going to throw the ball sooner, and he didn't want to get a roughing the passer, so he kind of held up. If Hubbard's there a split second quicker, it could have been a nasty hit. So, like, in terms of your mental clock and your mental timing, I love the play in retrospect because, hey, it turned out to be a big gain, a big catch by Agnew. It was a fantastic job. But if you get that ball out just a fraction sooner, I wouldn't be mad at you either, Trevor.
Yeah. And by the way, he did have you could hear the crowd on that play. Mm-hmm. They like almost gasped because they all saw James Robinson wide open on the far sideline. Like there was nobody around him.
I think that, but they also gasped because they thought, Hubbard was going to absolutely decleat Trevor Lawrence too. I mean, I was gasping like, Trevor, please get rid of it, please get rid of it, please get rid of it, and he just did. But it was close, man, and I get it. I respect Trevor Lawrence because he stands in that pocket. He waits for something to develop, and if he takes a hit, he takes a hit. But in those situations right there, I don't want him to risk it too much because if a guy's coming off your blind side 100 miles per hour, that's where guys can get hurt.
Yeah, and by the way, that was a beautiful play. I mean, Agnew really did. I mean, it was a gorgeous throw, but it was also a beautiful catch. I mean, Agnew has been unbelievable for this team, and it's nice to have some of those moments in all of this. I mean, seriously, it's again, not moral victory-esque. It's just like at least they're making some of these plays. And the play that Trevor made rolling to his right and the bullet to Chenault, listen, Chenault made a heck of a play on that, right? I mean, he adjusted, made a play, but it's just the look of that play, Austin. Like, the ability to run. I really enjoy watching Trevor Lawrence run. It's something just there's like a beauty to it almost, I mean, he's got such long strides. But then to zip that thing effortlessly some 50 yards down the field, I just think some of this stuff that he's doing just gives you some like, oh, this kid is the real deal. Like and now he's not making as many mistakes. He's dumping it down. He's taking his shots when he's there. He's not forcing it. I mean, if you really look at the maturation from week 1 to 2 and then to 3 to 4, the first 2 games versus these last 2 games, he's not lighting up your fantasy team, right? He's not throwing it for 380. Burrow ended up having like 348. But it's efficient. It's good. It's lower risk this week. I think those are all nice steps, and I think he'll develop into the guy that can go off for 380 as well and still go 3 touchdowns and a pick, like a lot of these guys do around the league.
No, absolutely. We know the turnovers are going to happen, but like what we talked about, it was a pretty clean game last night. Now, I think on the narrative side of things, you want to see a touchdown pass would have been nice, but I get it. You kind of take what the defense gives you, and James Robinson was having himself a night. I understand that the type of conversation is definitely Trevor Lawrence coming from that game, and we've talked about James Robinson a little bit, but the whole offense went through James Robinson. I can't stress this enough of just how important the play of James Robinson helped propel that offense, because this is an offense that has been stagnant, that has had a lot of questionable calls and all this stuff, and with a good dose of the running game, you saw the potential that offense could be. I wonder what it looks like going forward now, though, because I wonder if it gets affected going forward if you bring in Carlos Hyde every once in a while. Yeah. If you take James Robinson off the field. Because we saw an offense last night, especially in the first half, that was at full firepower, max capacity, and it looked good. Well, you didn't have Carlos Hyde on the field, taking some of the targets away, taking some of the carries away from James Robinson. I wonder what the plan now is going forward from Urban Meyer and Bell to say, well, hey, we had our best offensive showing in the first half last night. Do we keep that kind of rhythm and give James Robinson the ball a lot more? And I understand you want to keep him healthy. You want to keep him through a full 16-game season. But has James Robinson given you reason not to trust him in terms of staying healthy? I get he didn't play last year a little bit, but that was more, I think, the term of the tanking narrative than actually him being hurt. So, he's proven to be durable, so give him the ball and give him the opportunities.
Yeah, 3 things that I think will get overlooked in this game that I want to discuss real quick. One is the response drive by the Jags, 14-14, to go up 21-14. I thought that was big time, Austin. I mean, again, you can ask this team to kind of answer the bell sometimes, and it hasn't happened for a long time. It's why they've lost 19 in a row. I just thought that was clutch in the moment. Now, they didn't deliver at the end when it was 21-21. They had a 3rd and 4, couldn't get it done. But I thought that part is going to be undervalued in these conversations, but I thought it was big. The other one that we won't talk about, and you know why? Because they played well, is the offensive line. The offensive line was terrific last night. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, you talk about a hit or two, but I thought they were tremendous and continue to run block well. And 1 sack, which wasn't really a sack. It was like he ran out of bounds 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So that was a positive again. This offensive line's played pretty well over the first month of the year, and maybe the Jags were right about that. The other one is Dan Arnold.
Oh, yeah.
Austin, I had no idea that guy was that fast, or maybe the Jags tight ends have been so slow that he looked like a video game out there. I mean, this guy is quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's – he literally has spent how long in Jacksonville? He's already your best tight end.
48 hours.
I don't know what that says in terms of how you handled free agency, how you handled this roster, but when a guy can come in off the street, essentially, well, not off the street, come from Carolina, and you throw him in the mix right away, and he's your best tight end, bar none. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so at least in the immediate, though, it helps your young quarterback in your offense, and especially with DJ Chark now out. And that's the other thing about that first half. They had to adjust on the fly with no DJ, and they still were able to move the ball and take the lead. So a couple of bright things there for the Jags, but most importantly, Trevor Lawrence looks more comfortable. And if we continue to see this growth from Trevor, he's going to win them football games as the year goes along. I believe that if he continues to look like this and make this progression. Extreme Wing Sports Grill, that's where we're at. What's happening around the rest of the NFL? Well, we do our picks coming up next here on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Tonight, we will have partly cloudy skies with temperatures in the mid-60s. Saturday will be another partly sunny day with breezy onshore winds bringing a few coastal showers, but many neighborhoods dry with temperatures in the mid-80s. From the Action News Jacks First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedjig.
The Weather Meter is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's BOGO Wedding Band Sale October 8th through the 24th.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports. Pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing, they have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Massive increases in online ordering since the pandemic have sent demand for delivery truck drivers through the roof. And with that being said, the increased competition for those willing to be long-haul truckers has led to pay for drivers to be at an all-time high. Truck drivers are the glue that holds supply chains together, and no container, straight truck, or trailer moves without, at some point, a truck driver. So that means that right now there are high-paying job opportunities for people that are willing to get their Class A commercial driver's license, and J-Tech can help. J-Tech Institute's 4 or 8 week commercial truck driving and CDL program is helping students acquire the skills necessary to prepare for their CDL examination and to launch successful careers as commercial truck drivers. To learn more about J-Tech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
Are you bored from being bored? Then put a little excitement in your life in a great pre-owned from Arlington Toyota. Our friends over at Arlington have over 400 used available. 400! All makes and models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And if your Beacon score is from 450 to 850, almost everyone is approved. I'm excited. Are you excited? Then shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/September for full details.
Is your home not feeling very new anymore? Sick of that pink bathroom tile, popcorn ceilings, a stove older than you are? Whether it's repairs or reno, finance it smart with a Honeydew HELOC from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, where you can borrow up to 90% of your home's appraised value. You've got good taste, but your block counters ain't cheap. So get to work and open a Honeydew HELOC with 1-to-1 Financial. When you do, we'll send you a free handyman tool set to get started. Apply online at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Beard's Diamonds has been busy this fall, getting their showcases ready for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
So if you're getting married soon or want to upgrade your bands, don't miss Beard's Diamonds' incredible Buy One, Get One wedding band sale.
October 8th through the 24th, and only at Beard's Diamonds.
All wedding bands are buy one, get one free. Save thousands.
Plus, all stackables, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and more are buy one, get one free.
See hundreds of the latest styles from famous designers at beardsdiamonds.com.
It's the largest selection of wedding bands in North Florida at the guaranteed lowest price.
Couples wait for this sale all year.
Buy any wedding band and get the other band free.
Now you can go bigger and better with the band she's always dreamed of during Beard's Buy One, Get One sale, October 8th through the 24th.
Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed at Beard's Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
There's a national shortage of cars right now, so your car might be worth more than you think. Come to the ACV National Auction today and tomorrow at the Tom Bush family of dealerships. Drive in, have your car scanned, and watch it go live for dealers across the country to start bidding. Want to sell your car with no headaches? You can on the spot, or just find out what it's really worth. It's free and there is no obligation to sell. Today and tomorrow, hosted at the Tom Bush family of dealerships. See what your vehicle is really worth. 9850 Atlantic Boulevard.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. Everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Offices, Jacksonville.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Companies. If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save, Think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big when you call 8338-ROCKET today. For example, with a $250,000 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, you could get a new low rate under 3%. If your current rate is over 3.75%, you could lower your payment by over $100 a month, saving thousands in interest. But you've got to act now, because no one knows how long these low rates will last. So when you need a simple way to get big savings, Rocket can. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. That's 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Refinance offer assumes a rate of 2.99%, 3.21% APR, 70% loan-to-value ratio for the cost of 1.75 points. $4,375 due at closing. Monthly payment of $1,052.66. Taxes and insurance not included. Payment will be greater. Rates current as of 7/26/21. Conditions apply. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Whether on your radio, on your phone, or your smart speaker.
Now playing ESPN Radio.
He's seen guys that's not even going to make the team. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards in a game.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
Over 5 seconds.
Over 5 seconds, not a quick pass.
No, it's going to be come in, hug, respect. This game's built on respect, so I don't think there'll be any quick handshakes and a non-talk like, hey, that's it. No, I think it'll be more.
Prop bets on Bill Belichick and Tom Brady? Is that what that was?
Sounded like it.
That was the over-under on. That was the over-under on how long the pregame hug was going to be between Brady and Belichick.
Ah,
interesting. How about Brady and Mac Jones? It was like a 3-second answer. Did you see that?
I did not see it.
I forget exactly what he said, because I think it was basically, I haven't seen much of him.
Well, it was 3 seconds, Brent. You better know what he said.
Yeah, it was like I haven't seen much of him, really, I think is what is
I got
this
you.
thing.
Now, is Brady sick? What was that whole thing? Did you see that part? Like where he's acting sick during the press conference? People were saying that he was sick?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay. Yeah, that was kind of like a narrative. Like he was kind of feeling underneath the weather a little bit, and I want to know if that was like some kind of gamesmanship or if he was actually sick.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I think the other thing is gamesmanship. You know, the Mac Jones stuff.
Yeah.
Because anybody could – he could have made something up about Mac Jones, and he's basically like, I ain't giving a nod to the guy that's replacing me.
Oh, hang on. Brent, we have some updates here. Shout out to Jenna Lane because she's everywhere. She was reporting that Tom Brady isn't sick. He had issues a couple times losing his voice going back to this summer in camp. The crowd noise at the last game was extra loud, and he was shouting over it, so he lost his voice from that, so he's not sick. He just lost his voice from shouting.
Ah, very good. Thank you, Jenna Lane.
Everywhere.
Oh, she's on the TV right here, actually.
See,
Extreme Wing Sports Grill.
When I say she's everywhere, she's
everywhere.
Yep.
Jenna Lane. I tell you, listen, someday we're going to be everywhere covering Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You're going to look up all these TVs and you're going to see my ugly mug. Or maybe somebody else. But hey, let's get to our picks. We are at Extreme Wing Sports Grill. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz. We're on Roosevelt Boulevard, by the way. 4 locations. Ocean Way and Atlantic Boulevard and St. Johns County as well, right off 210. Come on out. Football weekend ahead, college football. You got the big game Sunday night. Watch it at Extreme Wing Sports Grill near you, especially this one right over here at Roosevelt Boulevard where we are near NAS Jax. Let's bring in Brandon Ponsel right now from JaxCoastalHomes.com. Hey, Brandon, I just want to let you know I'm not worried about these picks anymore. Instead, I'm locked in on the Thursday night thing that we do. I know we don't invite you. I'm sorry for that, but I'm 4-0 on Thursday nights.
Yeah,
and,
I had the Jags,
I think,
of course, last night too. So I'll take that 1-0 for the weekend.
Yeah, I think I have as many wins on Thursday night football, even though we make just one bet, that I do on 3 weeks of Friday picks, even though we do 6 of them. It's been a rough go, man. How you doing? How's the real estate world?
Everything's good. I had a chance to make it back to Kentucky, where I grew up, and I'm going to the big game against the Gators tomorrow night. So excited about that.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, we almost did that. Ty's a bit of a Gator fan. Not sure how that happened. Pops is not. Mom's not. So, but anyway, he's a Gator fan, and so we almost went to the Cincinnati, or took him to the Cincinnati game last night, and then stayed for the Kentucky game because it's like an hour from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did that. A lot of people. You could see a lot of Gator fans on the plane going up, and obviously a lot of Jags fans. So it was a nice double for Florida fans to be able to see the Jags and the Gators for sure. So glad to get back home for that. Yeah, it should be a pretty good one, right? No doubt.
Yeah.
That'll be – it's really the first road game for the Gators in the SEC, so we'll see how they handle that. Anthony Richardson should be back. How do they play that? Richardson looks to be a talented kid, but can they get him on the field would be something to watch. All right, Casey, let's go. What's the standings? Who's winning? How bad is this pillow fight that we're in?
Austin Lane, the winner of the week last week, going 5 for 6. Only missed on Clemson because he tried to pull the game picker upper. Should have just went for the straight.
I know.
Wow. So Austin Lane to 12-12, which is not much to write home about, but here we are.
But hey, you know what? At the end of the day, if you're listening to me, you're not losing money, you're not making money, but you're having fun. You're experiencing the rush.
That is true. Me and you are now tied at 12-12.
Same thing with Casey then. You're experiencing the rush.
Can't complain. Can't complain. Brent Martineau could complain. He is 7-17, and Brandon is 8-16.
Listen, I'm not going to Vegas yet.
It's early.
It's early.
Still early.
Right.
That it is. And Brandon, by the way, we almost had the Gators game on the picks, but Brent told me hard no, so we'll just move past that. You had an opportunity to pick the game you were going to be at, but that's okay.
Was that 7.5 points the Gators favored by?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Who would you take there, Brandon?
I think Kentucky is going to be so hyped for this game that the Gators are going to get everything they want, and I'm picking Kentucky with the upset.
Wow, a degenerate special coming from Brandon. I like it.
Hey, I wouldn't believe him. Did you see his record? By the way, we kid with Brandon because he won the picks going away last year.
It so wasn't even close.
He'll probably get hot somewhere along the way. That's an interesting one, though. It's hard for me to take Kentucky over Florida if you look at the history of this thing. But I do think it'll be pretty close for a bit. I think Florida's pretty good, though. They're really running the football well, and Mullen's got them cooking in game. All right, what do you got, Casey?
Brent, why don't you start us then? Cincinnati Notre Dame is one of the bigger games of the weekend. Cincinnati is favored. They are giving 2 points on the road. Notre Dame will get 2 at home. What's the deal, Brent?
My gosh, I mean, can you imagine a world where Cincinnati's favored over Notre Dame?
Man.
In South Bend?
In this climate, unbelievable.
I mean, are you kidding me?
What does Vegas know, Brent? Vegas knows something.
Yeah, Vegas knows that Notre Dame's coming off a fluky fourth quarter, right, to beat Wisconsin as much as they did. I'm taking Notre Dame. I'm taking Notre Dame at home as a dog. I got to do it.
Going to me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm taking the Fighting Irish as well. How dare you make them underdogs at home against Cincinnati? I've seen Cincinnati play a couple of times. I'm not sold on them. I think all the hype goes away after this game. I got the Fighting Irish.
Brandon Ponso from JacksCoastalHomes.com. What you got?
I see a bit of a letdown for Notre Dame after that big game in Chicago. Question marks at quarterback. Give me Cincinnati.
And that's the smart play. You do what you got to do. Desmond Ridder, Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati to straight up win the football game at Notre Dame. Austin Lane will go to you. Auburn +3 on the road at night in Death Valley against LSU. LSU obviously -3.
Yeah, so I think Ed Orgeron obviously challenged his team. Do you guys want to be part of something special, or do you just not care and we want to lose the SEC? I think he challenged his team last week. You saw that. They played better. I got LSU. Auburn's way too much of a mess right now at the quarterback position. They might actually be starting this transfer, who is from LSU, by the way. So I'm taking the Tigers big.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, they almost lost to Georgia. Which one was that? State last week, I think. And then they came back in the fourth quarter. And what happens when Eddie O says, "Go Tigers" this week? Go Tigers. I mean, for both. I'm going to go Auburn, man, getting some points. LSU stinks. Auburn probably does too, but I'm going Auburn. What do you say, Brandon?
I mean, Death Valley at night, LSU.
Come on.
Casey.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that one as well because Death Valley at night, but I really don't think LSU's any good, but crap. Give me LSU. So that's the Go ahead.
So much confidence, Casey.
I think we get one crap from Casey every time we pick. There's at least one thrown in there, and there it was. By the way, that's called a game picker-upper. Trademark that for me. I got Auburn. Go ahead.
Brandon, we're going to start with you in the National Football League, and that would be the Indianapolis Colts on the road in Miami. The Colts are getting 2. Miami -2. What's the situation?
Yeah, I think Indy is one of the better 0-3 teams I've ever seen. Tough schedule so far, so I'll take the Colts to finally get a win.
Yeah, I have the same thing as Brandon does. They've had the first 3 games were pretty rough for them. I think Miami is beatable. Tua's out, obviously, and I can't foresee a Colts team going 0-4 with as much talent as they have in their roster. Give me the Colts with +2.
Yeah, Colts have problems, though. I mean, Quentin Nelson's not going to play. Their offensive line already isn't as good. They're just okay, but so is Miami. I feel you. I think I have the Colts as well. I think they end up winning this football game outright. Casey?
Give me the Fins.
Yeah,
I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Pick up that game,
What
right?
am I supposed to do?
No, here's the thing. It's good that you take Miami because you're the one that has to talk to South Beach Gary every time he calls.
Hey. Sometimes you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Brent, we'll go to you. The Cardinals, a team that beat the Jags, they are getting 4 points on the road against the Rams. Tough matchup. What's the situation?
You know, I feel like you could make the case, right, that Arizona was looking at this one a couple weeks ago, even when it came to Jacksonville. The Rams just come off that Bucs game. I feel like the points are going to be the difference here. I think the Rams will win, but 4 points is too many. I'll take the Cardinals. Brandon, what do you think?
Like I said on air last week, Rams are the best team in the NFL. There's a little margin for error in that NFC West, so they're going to come out and put it on the Cardinals. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, I have the Rams as well. I think that you take the hottest team right now. They haven't given me a reason not to pick them with a -4. I'm taking the Rams as well, with all due respect to Kyler Murray.
If nothing else, something starts to look funny when Brent Martineau's the only one that picked the team. So give me the Rams.
Game picker-upper for Brent.
Another game picker-upper, baby. Here I come, or there I go.
Austin Lane, Seattle will travel to San Francisco. They will get 3 points when they do it. I should mention DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, both questionable.
Yeah.
Did not practice at all this week, either of them. Today's a big day, but I don't really care about that. I need you to make a pick right now.
See, with Tyler Lockett, though, he did go back in the game when he got – I probably shouldn't be telling this because then people might use that information against my picks. But I'm taking Seattle. I think this is a classic game that Seattle wins. San Fran's good, but are they great? I got Seattle.
That's interesting because I kind of feel like Seattle's going to be you know how I said it's going to be a great division? Now I'm starting to feel Seattle's going to be disappointing. Lose to the Titans the way they did. They lose to Minnesota after having a lead. They got some guys banged up. I think this game means a lot to San Francisco. I'm going to pick San Francisco winning and Seattle going to 1-3. And I think the Rams await Seattle after that on Thursday Night Football. How about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I think the Seahawks roster is not very good. Take a Russell Wilson off of it, and it might be one of the worst teams in the league. So give me the Niners.
Crap.
How you feeling, Casey?
Not good.
What you got, man?
NFL's tough, isn't it, Casey?
The NFL is tough. Seattle.
Oh, I thought I had a game picker
Only because Austin looked way too happy for me to pick San Francisco.
I thought for sure you're going San Fran. Give me that game picker
I think, unfortunately, I just made a pick that I think we're going to lose together. Anyway, not important. The last game of the week has been potentially the biggest regular season game some have said ever. That would be Tampa Bay traveling to New England. For some reason, Brandon, the spread is only 7, and obviously Tampa is favored.
Yeah, I'm with the kind of Vegas knows something that we don't know. So I've got Belichick and Matt keeping it within the 7, so I'll take the 7 points in the Patriots.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, because you think you get 3 already. That's really like a 10-point line. I think I just got to go with the Bucs here. They're just so much better. Forget about the whole storyline. They're just a lot better. The Patriots are not that good. So, Austin Lane, I got the Bucs.
So, in honor of the late Eddie Guerrero, it's Bill Belichick. It's one of the biggest games of his life. He will lie, cheat, and steal to do what he has to do to get the job done. I got New England covering with the points.
All right. Game picker-upper potential if Casey takes the Bucs. Casey.
Taking the Bucs.
All right.
You do what you got to do. Come on.
Yeah, you got to do it. So, all right, there it is. Brandon Ponce, I hope you have an awesome weekend, man. Let's hope you and I do a little bit better here this weekend in the picks.
Yes, absolutely. Have a good one, fellas.
You too. That's Brandon Ponce, JacksCoastalHomes.com. Joins us for our picks every Friday at 4:30. Good to get him in. Austin Lane leads the way. Casey right there, and Brendan and I are not so good.
Casey and I are actually tied, but I appreciate it, Brent.
Oh, well, you had the big week. So
I did. I am leaning the way. You're right. You're absolutely right. And when you're right, Brent.
I mean, you're 1-2 in fantasy. I know that.
Hey, a lot of games left, though, right? A lot of injuries can happen.
Just giving everybody an update.
Okay.
Also, tough for you last night, Austin.
What's that?
The over?
Shark?
No, the over. We're talking about Thursday.
The over, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you want to pitch the ball to James Robinson to get a touchdown? Help me out. Do you want to go for a touchdown at the end, Cincinnati?
Is that over? What was that, 46, and ended up with 45, huh?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Missed it by a point.
Vegas is so smart. Vegas is so smart.
Isn't that crazy how on they usually are? It's insane.
It is unreal.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back. Extreme Wings Sports Grill, Roosevelt Boulevard here until 6 o'clock. Then we got all our Friday night coverage coming up, both on ESPN 690 and on TV, CBS 47 and Fox 30. More Jags talk after this on ESPN 690.
Keep climbing.
It's intercepted. Picked off of the 12. He will go down. He finds the promised land. Touchdown, FSU.
This is your home for FSU football.
Outside the numbers to the 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. It's a touchdown, Florida State. Intercepted. Picked off of the 33-yard line. Noles win.
Catch live coverage of the Seminoles all season long, right here on your home for Florida State football.
Sponsored by Bono's Pit Barbecue. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit. I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jacks, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wings Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wings Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jacks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin. I want to talk about my friends at J-Tech. J-Tech is a local nonprofit private institution of higher learning focused on essential career training such as automotive, diesel, HVAC, marine and RV technology, and commercial truck driving. They are currently hiring technical education instructors for all of those programs. If you're tired of being retired and all the mundane activities that come with retirement, and you have experience in those trade fields, they want to talk to you about using your knowledge and skills to teach and prepare the next generation of skilled trades men and women. So go ahead and give them a call to start the process. Their phone number is 904-328-5599. Again, that's 904-328-5599. 5599. Do good by giving back and teaching the next generation the skills that you've learned over the years, all the while becoming involved in helping the country by narrowing the skills gap. Call J-Tech today.
He's kept you ahead of storms.
This is going to be a very active afternoon of storms.
He's taken you inside storms.
Look at the Reds then that have shifted a little south of Jacksonville.
And for 33 years, the Chief has seen it all. Forecasting severe weather days in advance. So when storms are headed your way, there is only one meteorologist to turn to tonight, the Chief. The knowledge and experience of Jacksonville's chief meteorologist, Mike Burrish. Action News Jack's First Alert Weather, only on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
I've been asked, did you plan on becoming the largest injury law firm in the world? And the answer is no. We set out to be focused on our clients and to have a commitment to trying cases and winning. And when you have those results at trial, you're able to settle most of your cases quickly and fairly. Hard work and client satisfaction was our plan. It worked. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the world is throwing everything it has at you, and to succeed, you need someone to guide you through. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the tech advice to help you navigate whatever challenges you're up against and get you safely to where you want to be. For advice on solutions like XPS 13 laptops powered by Intel Evo platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Southern Recipe pork rinds are the bold flavor crunch you crave in a no-carb snack. Crush them in keto-friendly recipes for an extra collagen protein kick. Yep, Southern Recipe pork rinds have 0 carbs, naturally gluten-free, and loaded with collagen. Get your crunch on at southernrecipe.com/radio today. That's southernrecipe.com/radio.
Southern Recipe Pork Rinds.
Visit your local racetrack today for your Southern Recipe pork rinds.
What's your ultimate game day experience? A tricked-out man cave? Deluxe tailgate? Then enter the 5-hour energy football sweepstakes for a chance to win $10,000. And make your ultimate game day experience a reality. To enter, buy any 5-hour energy product and upload the receipt. It's that easy. The 5-hour energy football sweepstakes. Enter today.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 and a legal resident of the U.S. Ends December 10th, 2021. For official rules and how to enter without purchase, visit 5hesport.com. Void where prohibited.
From the biggest names in sports.
Justin Herbert, ladies and gentlemen.
To the stories that matter.
The New England Patriots want to play that way. They want to protect
and plenty of opinions.
It's simple. Justin Fields is better, but I'm willing to.
And it starts every morning with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, right here on ESPN Radio.
As we head into the weekend, maybe you do some things around the house. Well, here's an idea. Clean up your garage, right? Well, I've got a way to help you clean up your garage. Easy Garage Solutions. That's what we did. It's been awesome. Take all the stuff off the floor, right? You can hang it from the ceiling in your garage, and the bins and the baskets and Christmas decorations, anything you have. We all accumulate a lot of stuff, but Easy Garage Solutions will take care of that. Also, Monkey Bar Technology, which is super strong, holds 1,000 pounds worth of weight, lawn equipment, beach chairs. Those aren't that heavy, but if you add it all up, it'll be there for a lifetime hanging on the walls. So you can get the bikes up there as well, and you get all that room on your garage floor. We did it. It's awesome. Now we can hit more in the garage. Maybe play some ping pong, foosball, do things like that, have some fun, or just park your cars, maybe in the garage. Easy Garage Solutions will help. Check out EasyGarageSolutions.com. Easy Garage Solutions. It's that easy.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin Lane. Check out Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Hey, welcome back here to Extreme Wing Sports Grill. Brent Martineau along with Austin Lane, Casey Kurtz here on a Friday. Get to talk a lot of Jags because of Thursday Night Football, and then Jags now have to wait all the way until Sunday, of course, to play again. They'll host the Titans. The Titans are interesting because, well, they're without potentially a couple guys. It looks like both A.J. Brown and Julio Jones aren't going to play, Austin, Sunday against the Jets. Now, might not need them, but be careful in your survival pools, right?
No, definitely be careful. I mean, it stinks when you lose, your 2 top wide receivers if they only had a running game to rely on. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
We're going to talk more about this next week, but it's going to be interesting now. Everybody's attacking the Jaguars with the passing game. Will that get Tennessee out of what they want to do with their running game?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Next Sunday, because the way to beat the Jags right now is to throw it.
Correct.
And Tannehill can, and if those guys are healthy, they certainly are capable. But does that mean not as much Derrick Henry? And could that actually hurt Tennessee to not use as much Derrick Henry? We'll talk about that next week. We got a week to prep that game for the Titans and the Jags in Jacksonville next Sunday. Hey, I want to remind you also about the Relevant app. You got to download it. People are downloading it. It's really cool to go back and forth. I think there's a bunch of different reasons to go to the Relevant app, RELEVNT. Download the Relevant app. You can easily listen to ESPN 690 any time of day. Just one click, boom, and it's live radio right there in your pocket. And it's beautiful. Simple way to do it. And also we can interact and have conversations and debates, poll questions up there. And if you want to do your own podcast thing, you can do it right there on the Relevant app. So check it out. Download the Relevant app. RELEVNT. We're going to talk football at 5 coming up. We've got some high school football a little bit later. We're at Extreme Wing Sports Grill. Let's bring in South Beach Gary. Think wants to talk a little baseball. Please don't talk about my Red Sox.
Get him, Gary.
Austin, Brett, did you mention my name, Brendan? A couple of things. Hey, how about those Orioles taking 2 out of 3, Brendan, beating Chris Sale in the process? Does it kind of remind you of Robert Andino back in 2012, late in the year when the Orioles eliminated your Red Sox?
Get him.
Yeah, listen, by the way, the Orioles have played pretty competitively down the stretch, even though they stink still. So you got to give it to them for continuing to fight through. And this is not that surprising to me. The Red Sox are not good. I don't know how many times I have to tell people this. And then I look up and say they do have 89 wins, which isn't bad. They're just not good enough. This does not surprise me. They get the Nationals the last 3 games. And by the way, they're still tied for the wild card spot. But this could be an epic collapse because you swept at home by the Yankees, 2 out of 3 to the Orioles. And if they lose 2 out of 3 here, then they're going to be done. But they still do have a chance. I think the more impressive thing actually was the Yankees winning 2 out of 3 against what I think is a pretty good Toronto team. And so the Yankees have pretty much clinched a playoff berth, and looks like they'll host that wild card game. But we could have – how wild is this? We could have a couple of wild card games because we could end up with a 3 or 4-way – well, a 3-way tie, but even a 2-way tie for the second wild card spot in the AL.
Yes, and the other thing, guys, I disagree with you. I kicked a field goal because the Jags not coming away with any points. When you're on the road, you get the points when you can. You go up 17. Psychologically, Cincinnati's looking as bad as they played. They're only down 2 touchdowns. They couldn't have, the Jags probably couldn't have played any better. Cincinnati couldn't have played any worse. And you make it a 3-score game, and which goes to show when the Jags went up 21-14, they would have been up 10. Had they kicked a field goal. I blame that on Urban Meyer. And Brent, I want you to take off your teal and black sunglasses.
Yeah, listen. All right,
what's the chance the Jags lose the 26 in a row? And have a great weekend, guys.
Okay, well then I don't think they lose 26 in a row. I mean, but heck, it's in play, but I don't think they do. They have a really tough schedule after their bye week, especially. So this was the easier part of their schedule. Maybe it does happen. Austin, the field goal talk. I'm going to say this. First of all, they got a break with Cincinnati missing a field goal. Okay, so maybe you do kick the field goal. You go up 17. I get it. 3 scores. That makes sense. They were it would almost been easier, right, if Chenault doesn't almost get in the end zone there. And then it's a no-brainer to kick the field goal. But I think people are missing this. There would have been a minute left. And since he would have got the ball at the 25 or 30-yard line, I think at the very least they go back and get that field goal back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they get the ball in the second half anyway. So I mean, I'm not saying that registered to the decision. I feel like very few people think the field goal in real time was the way to go. They were pushing the Cincinnati Bengals around offensively.
No, for sure. You were controlling the line of scrimmage. You were winning the trenches. I'm not mad at the call once again, and I'm not mad at the play call. It's just you got to make that right read there, and you get a touchdown. It's 21 up, and I think that then you had that game secured.
Yeah, to your point, if you're up 17-0, I'm not sure you win the football game. If Correct. You're up 21-0, I do think you win the football game.
Going up 21-0 and in the locker room, Brent, and assuming the Bengals don't score there, that's devastating to a team.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's not anything that you can call if you're the coach. It's like, hey guys, we'll get back. You're down 21 points.
Which, by the way, think about what we just said. If they were up 17-0, we don't think they win the football game. That's where we're at in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
sad.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And we got football at 5 coming up. 1 more hour to go in the week. And we'll talk some high school football later on. But back to the NFL, back to the Jags. When are they going to get it right? Where's the win? All that's coming up. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
The American Freedom Tour is coming to Jacksonville. I'm Dean Black, chairman of the Republican Party of Duval County, and it's time for Republicans to get motivated and defend freedom. 2 historic days, Friday and Saturday, October 8th and 9th. Come see Donald Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, Dan Bongino, Dinesh D'Souza, and many, many more. Get your tickets now at DuvalGOP.com. I will see you there.
The Community Spotlight Award this week goes to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes. Law Offices of Ron Scholes is a partner in the community. They're a huge supporter of the military and those that have served. If you see Ron Scholes or anyone from the Law Offices of Ron Scholes this week, thank them for being a great partner in the community. The Community Spotlight Award recognizes those that are great community partners. Again, this week the Community Spotlight Award goes to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes. Congrats to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes.
Here in the Sunshine State, more than 3 million men are over age 45, and over half suffer from ED or PE. Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Brown. If you're having problems in the bedroom and pills like Viagra have let you down, you'll see results at Prime Men's Medical Center, guaranteed, or your exam is free. And it's affordable.
Call 904-664-8217. Guaranteed results on your first visit or your exam is free. Call 904-664-8217.
Okay, I get it. So the summer season's almost over, but that's why we live in Florida. And that's why our friends at Arlington are doing fall Florida style with hot temps and even hotter deals. Get to Arlington Toyota today because they have 400 new Toyotas available with interest rates as low as 0% on over 10 new Toyota models. Plus, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. And every new car purchase gets a lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/September for full details.
My name's Ashley Booth Norris. I am an emergency medicine physician. So COVID doesn't discriminate. Again, it affects people of every age, every race. It doesn't care how old you are. It doesn't care who you are. It's affecting everyone. And so it's important for you to get vaccinated to protect yourself, those that you love, as well as everyone around you. We're racing against the clock here before the next variant comes around.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Hospital Association, the Florida Medical Association, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. As the Buccaneers get ready for Sunday night against the Patriots, tight end Rob Gronkowski and linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul will both be game-time decisions. Gronkowski is doubtful with sore ribs. Pierre-Paul has been out for 2 weeks with hand and shoulder injuries. There will be college football this weekend. Number 1 Alabama hosting 12th-ranked Ole Miss in Tuscaloosa. ESPN's David Pollack.
Is Ole Miss's defense legit better? They got transfers and they kind of addressed that side of the football and they've looked good so far. If they can get a few stops, they're going to be in this. They're going to score points in bunches. So I think it's Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss has a realistic shot to beat Alabama.
David Pollack on KJ and Max. Tonight, 2 top 25 teams play on the road. Number 5 Iowa at Maryland. 13th ranked BYU at Utah State. ESPN has learned multiple schools are getting interest from the American Conference, but no invitations have been extended yet. Also, the Mountain West plans to move forward for now with 11 full-time members and Hawaii in football.
Sign up with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, and use code CJR to get a free shot at millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Yeah, he gets the ball out quickly. You know, it's the second half. A lot of the balls were out quick. You know, they were doing a lot of quick games. First half, we did put some pressure on them. And then I thought we were off the field, and they called that holding on the – I didn't see that yet, but our GM told me he saw it. I think that was on a sack, right? Wow.
Oh, wow.
Hitting the podium.
Yeah, he if you watched that last night, you could see the emotion for Urban Meyer. I mean, we were there. I think you could see it even if you just watched the post game.
Do you have an issue with that?
I don't. I mean, it's really a better question for you because, you're the player, and I think I don't have an issue because of what I said earlier in the show. I think a lot of people around here, like when Gus Bradley was losing, right, or even Jack or Doug Marrone, Doug looked mad, and I mean, they all looked disappointed, but they said stuff to kind of keep the train rolling, and they tried to create positivity, and therefore they said the same things over and over. And that's, I understand there's an element of that's part of their job, but I felt like all along people were like, hey, is anybody going to get mad about this? And so to have a coach that, at least from a fan perspective, that you can tell it bugs the crap out of him to lose a football game, like, I think the fans kind of like that. And by the way, I don't think he's catering to the fan. I think that's Urban, right? So I just think that's the way he is. And he was, I told you earlier in the show, if you missed it, I mean, he was like clenching that podium. Then he hit the podium the one time. I mean, he was distraught over that loss. I mean, that is, we know this guy doesn't like to lose, and that was the best example of it yet, in my opinion. I don't know what it means to the locker room. I think people are concerned a little bit about body language, sometimes maybe even throwing coaches under the bus about play calls with Urban. I don't know if he's doing that too much. I feel like he's got the locker room, man. I feel like they know he's mad, but he's also defending them, and he talks highly of them, and he appreciates their effort, but they just need better play. And he's done that since he got here. If you're not playing well, he's not afraid to tell people you're not playing well. I don't know how the players feel about it, so I guess it's kind of a better question for you, but I don't mind it at all. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it whatsoever because, and I get like every coach, every person, you know, they handle their emotions differently. And I think that Urban Meyer wears his emotions on his sleeve. Now, you can say that's a good thing, you can say it's a bad thing. I mean, I think as long as you're being true to yourself, I think you know, there's room in the NFL for you. To me, though, is like what he purveys, like at this press conference where he's pounding the podium. What do you think he did behind the scenes then?
I know it.
Right? Were chairs getting tossed? Like this is the NFL. Like I've seen so many coaches punch dry erase boards, tip over a table, throw a Gatorade bucket. Like that's part of what happens in a locker room. And the fact that he tapped on a podium and like we got to freak out about that, like, but no, like I guarantee if you had the hard knocks behind the scenes access after a loss, after a game that you're supposed to win, and you see how a coach flips out in front of his team, they might be calling the FCC on you. They might be calling the authorities because people wouldn't be ready for that. That's what it is, though. That's the game of football. So, no, Brent, I have zero problem with him pounding the podium, you know, maybe having a little bad body language after the game. You're supposed to. It's supposed to suck to lose. So I'm not saying, like, I like when Urban Meyer is ticked off and he's hitting the podium, but if that's who he is, then so be it.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a bit the refreshing side of Urban not knowing, if you will, and I'm using air quotes right now, saying knowing the NFL. Like he comes in, he's like, listen, we're going to win. We're going to turn this around. We're not going to have this honeymoon time frame, right? Trevor has been very careful but good about that, saying, hey, we're good enough to win right now. We got to make a play or two. We're going to win. Like, I'm not saying we're getting close. Like, he even caught himself yesterday. I'm not going to say we're close. Like, we are close. Like, we're a play away. And so I like that for those guys trying to change this around here, change this culture. And maybe I kind of like it about Urban that says, hey, it's okay that he doesn't understand that this is going to be a longer journey than even he thinks it is or it's ever been. Like, don't understand that. Be mad about it. You know, hate to lose. That is fine. Like, I get it. Everybody hates to lose. I agree. I think every fan hates to lose. I think every coach hates to lose. I think every player hates to lose. I understand it. But this guy has been part of his MO for as long as he's been coaching, and people wondered how he would handle it. I actually think he's handled this very well the last few weeks. I didn't think he got off to a great start after the Houston game. I think that stunned everybody, and even including Urban. I think he's been so much better after the second loss and the third loss. And again, what I think is an illustration of, I think Urban's been pretty good after the losses, is how they've responded and gotten better each week. Now, again, it hasn't created a win, so it's not good enough. But it's not like they've backtracked. And are we waiting for that? I think they've handled the losing decent. And again, you don't want to, but I think there's another way to go there is my point. Like, you can go another way when you handle losing poorly, and I think this football team so far has handled it. We'll see how they bounce back from this one because this was the toughest one yet.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, I really don't care what the post-press conferences are like for Urban Meyer. I don't care if he's got his head down in his arm the entire time. I don't care if he's pulling like, you know, a Dennis Green, like we let you know, let him off the hook. I don't care if we're talking about playoffs. Like I really don't care because the only thing I'm concerned about is with the way Urban Meyer presents himself is how does he present himself to that locker room after a loss, right? And then those are things that we're not privileged to knowing, but like you echoed a little bit. the fact that this team has improved game by game by game, and I get it. It's a silver lining. I don't like talking about it, giving it credit, but it is the fact. It goes to show you that he is handling losing, I think, better than a lot anticipated. So whatever the media wants to say about it in terms of, well, he's got bad body language, he's hitting podiums, like, that doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, it's not like the players are on the plane or, like, getting ready to get on the bus watching this press conference live and saying, hey, I wonder what my coach is going to say about me. Like, do you think the players are concerned about hitting podiums? No. So then I'm not concerned about it.
No, I think now I will say this. I believe this, and you tell me if it's true from a player standpoint or not, but I kind of believe it. I say this a lot about parenting, really. I think your kids kind of, whether you think so or not, they kind of take on your demeanor or react to your demeanor, like on a daily basis. You know,
without a doubt.
If you're angry, all that stuff. Like, they sense it. Whether it's right in their face or not, they sense it. You know?
Without a doubt. My son's calling teacher dudes nonstop. Like, hey, dude, like, yeah, probably not the best, but apologies. He learns it at home. You know, what can I say?
Yeah,
not all teachers.
Dude.
Yeah, not all teachers are referred to as dude. You have to go Mr. or Mrs. Ronan. But, you know, yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so I think to a degree, in some cases, I don't think all, but maybe teams take on that persona of the coach.
Yeah.
And so, like, in New England, we're seeing a different Brady, right? He took on the persona of Belichick and the way he ran things, and everything was tight, and all the players did. They didn't say much, right? They didn't show much personality other than Gronk. He stayed who he was.
Sure.
But, like, I don't know if that happens everywhere, Austin, but I guess what I'm getting at is I think there's more of a chance of this football team taking on the persona that losing isn't acceptable and I'm pissed off about it all the time rather than I'm freaking out about it. Like, I don't see a freaking out Urban Meyer, at least not yet. I think a pissed off, ticked off Urban Meyer's there. And if that makes everybody in that locker room do that and make an extra rep better in practice and maybe it pays off in the game, well, then maybe that's what you need around here. But you're better to speak to that. Like, did you guys take on the personality or the persona of Jack when you played here? Did you feel that? I don't know.
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting philosophy. You know, with Jack, like, yeah, I think we were kind of a hard-nosed, tough-minded team. But, like, and you know how Jack Del Rio is. Like, he's never really too up or too down,
no,
right?
So
it wasn't like, I mean, he had obviously he's the head coach, so you have influence on the team. But it wasn't like, you know, you have to act like this, you have to act like no, it's just kind of, we did our own thing. So for the most part, like, I've never really had Andy Reid, I guess you could say, in terms of having fun, and in terms of just, you know, being a little more, like, lighthearted. Loose. Yeah, loose is good. That's a great one, is loose. I think, you know, like, if you watch the Chiefs and, like, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, how they handle themselves in press conferences, like, you get the sense that they're a very loose team, right? And there's expectations set up before them. But, like, I will go back to a story in Detroit with Jim Schwartz, who, you know, Jim Schwartz is a defensive-minded guy. And, you know, he kind of had the persona a little bit of this laid-back character, and that's kind of who he was. Kind of like a Jack Del Rio, if you will. But I'll never forget when we lost to Tampa and Gatorade coolers went flying, and the leadership committee kind of had to stand up to our coach in the middle of the locker room after a loss and say, that's not you. I would stop doing that. And that was kind of awkward for everybody. So that was a kind of behind the scenes little nugget for everybody out there. But, like, I have seen it go that way as well. So I think at the end of the day, it's more important for the captains to kind of reflect of what you want from a football team, whether they're doing it the right way in press conferences, whether it's doing it the right way on the field. And every once in a while, you're going to get a coach who his influence will be all around the team in terms of his personality and how he approaches the game of football.
Yeah, that's really well said, and it's a good story because you got to be who you are, right?
Yes.
You can't fake it because players know that. You can fake it to the media. You can fake it to the fans even, but you can't fake it internally. And so, and I don't think, again, I feel like Urban's being pretty real with everybody. I mean, but we don't know what's going on behind. I also don't get the sense, even though he pounded the podium, even though he came in, I don't think he was flipping that locker room after the game. Because I get the sense he might be more disappointed in his coaching staff in some of these losses than he is in the players. And I'm not sure that's right. This is, by the way, just me interpreting. I don't know that. But I just feel like, based off what he said coming into this whole thing, where, hey, we got to coach him. We have good players. And he says it every time he goes in front of a microphone. He likes the locker room. These are good guys. These are hardworking guys. These are talented guys. They've got a good enough group to win. Well, to me, that kind of then goes on what he said to start. It's like, we got to coach him up. Mm-hmm. We got to coach him better. And I think if there's some disappointment, he might be yelling at some coaches in some staff meetings. I don't get the sense he's yelling at the players that much. Maybe showing some disappointment yesterday for some plays not made. But I don't think so yet that he's snapping on the players, No,
I mean, I don't think he's snapping on the players, but I think that he's holding some players accountable,
Yeah,
and then there's a fine line, I think, between holding players accountable and snapping on players. And that's what it comes down to, Brent, at the end of the day. And then this is kind of like a big, misconception I always feel like with locker rooms and how coaches come across. Players don't mind getting chewed out. Now, it's not the funnest thing, obviously. Like, you'd rather have a more calm coach as opposed to a coach who's chewed you out. And believe me when I say I've had all personality types, right? I've been called every name in the book by some, and some guys wouldn't even raise their voice to me. Every coach has their different philosophy. But alluding to what you said, players are really in tune of seeing through, the BS, if you will, of seeing when a coach isn't being his true self. And coaches find themselves sometimes in this position because how they feel they're coming across isn't working. So they either got to up what they're doing or they got to lower what they're doing, but they got to change something about their philosophies and their demeanor. And players can see that. And when players see that, that's when you lose a locker room, because it's all about respect. If you respect a player enough to be yourself around him, then players will appreciate you no matter how many times you get chewed out or you get yelled at. But if you start, changing the script a little bit and you're one guy one day and then you're a different guy the next day, players will see through that, and that's when you lose a locker room.
Yeah, and by the way, I do think that happened to a degree in your tenure here toward the end of Jack Del Rio's tenure. And maybe, again, this is just my perception and some things that I heard in the building, that because he was inconsistent with his approach. I'm not sure his mentality toward players, but I think he was kind of reaching at stuff, and so he would be very inconsistent at his day-to-day or how his philosophy, or I always used to, if you go back and look at when Jack was coach and you played for some of these years, you'd have night training camp, and then you'd have day training camp, and then you'd have, then you'd have a hard training camp, then you'd have an easy training camp. Like, he tried all different training camps.
Yeah.
He just didn't have this one philosophy of, hey, we're going to do it this way every single year because I believe it works. He was kind of grasping, and more of that changed, I believe, day to day or week to week or season to season toward the end when things weren't going as well. That's what my perception of it was, at least.
And you aren't wrong, but, and this is how coaches operate. This is how they function. They're always trying to find a competitive advantage. They're always trying to think outside the box and say, hey, we're this team that's doing this unique thing and nobody else is doing it, and this is what takes us over the top in terms of going to the Super Bowl. One could argue that the night practices might have fell in that category a little bit. One could argue that, it's changing up the practice times during the regular season. That was maybe that line of thinking. But what people sometimes fail to realize, especially in the coaching world, is it's okay to do some of those things. But once again, you can't change the script of what you believe in and what your approaches are that got you there in the first place, right? And this is where I think coaches go wrong sometimes. For instance, Mike McCarthy. Right now, Mike McCarthy's having some success so far, but he's changed his entire attitude with analytics and all this stuff. Now, he's having success with it, but can he sustain that success? Now, he had to do that out of necessity because he was looking for a job and he was trying to adapt his coaching philosophies to the newer school of style. The problem is that if you lose your principles, if you lose your foundation, how much success are you truly going to have? Time will tell for Mike McCarthy. But I'm just trying to make the point of you still have to be grounded in what got you to that show in the first place. And that's your principles, that's your philosophies, and then you adapt with them over time.
Maybe that's good advice for Josh Lambo, by the way. Grounded in what got you there, right?
Man.
Because where is he? This is the quote from Urban Meyer on Josh Lambo. I'll have more of an update the next day or two. Everything you said is absolutely correct when asked about his confidence. We all in athletics have dealt with that, whether it be a pitcher, whether it be a golfer, whether it be a kicker. The guy's a workaholic, the guy's a grinder, and the guy's talented. We're all personally trying to get him through it. That's what he's working through. So they admitted that these personal days are a lack of confidence, which, that's logic and kind of lines up. but the Jags seemingly are sticking with him for now. This Matthew Wright kid did a pretty nice job last night. It was just extra points, so we never really saw a field goal or even a clutch one at that. But I guess it's twofold question now. Where does this go from here? Are the Jags trying my philosophy of kind of sitting him down for a week and a half and letting him clear his mind? Because it looks like we're headed that way. But by the time they play the Titans next Sunday, I have two questions. Is he on the roster? And is he the kicker in that game? They could be two different answers, by the way.
No, for sure. Is he on the roster? I would say yes. Does he play? All I'm going to say with that one is that he better. And, you know, without coming across as cold and callous, I'll be honest, the one negative that I saw in Urban Meyer's press conference today was the Josh Lambo question and the approach that they're taking now with Josh Lambo. And it's, once again, nothing against Josh Lambo. He's obviously going through something mentally. I can make an argument and say, well, C.J. Henderson was going through something mentally, and maybe you can get through to him. But, like, at what point do you say, okay, we got to move on here? Because, once again, I say this all the time. It's a performance-based business. And now we find a team that is saving a roster spot for a kicker when your team is 0-4 and you're coming off a 1-15 season. And this situation, it eludes me back, and I may have shared this story before, and I may have not. But this eludes me back to my rookie year in Jacksonville, 2010. And, like, one of the very first OTA practices I was ever a part of, we finished individual drills with Joe Cohen. And we all put our hands in the middle, and we, I forgot who was leading the chant, but we say family on three, family on three. And all of a sudden, Joe Cohen, in classic Joe Cohen fashion, comes over and starts chewing us out. And he goes, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And we're like, and like at this point, I'm like, what did I just get myself into here? This is OTAs. Why are we getting yelled at already? What we're breaking it down. What did we do wrong? And he said, "Why are you guys breaking it down on family?" And, you know, we're all just like, because we're a family. Like, what do you, like, we were all taken back by the outburst. Like, we had no idea how to respond to it, essentially. And I'll never forget what Joe Cohen said. And this philosophy has followed with me my entire football career and up until my radio career now. He said, no, you guys think you're a family, but you're not. Because in a family, the weakest link, you got to carry him with you. In a family, if someone's out of line, if someone's pulling you down, you got to drag them with you. Because that's what a family does. This is not a family. If you mess up big enough, if you don't play well enough, you're gone. And we forget about you. This is a brotherhood, not a family. And ever since then, we broke it down in brotherhood. And that phrase, you know, that quote from Joe Cohen, it always stuck with me because he was absolutely right. Like, it's one thing to break it down in family and say, yeah, we're tight knit. Okay. And then all of a sudden you wake up one day, a guy's got cut for getting in trouble or just not producing, and then you forget about him. So, yeah, it really isn't a family. And the way that Urban Meyer described that Josh Lambo situation in that press conference, that was more of the family philosophy. You're trying to bring this guy along. No, I'm not hating on it. I love the fact that, you know, you're trying to give him every opportunity to succeed and you're making sure he's mentally okay. That's not what I'm saying here. But I'm just saying what I know about football and the grand scheme of things, I find it baffling that you're carrying this guy along when I was always taught it was a brotherhood.
Yeah, that's a great explanation of that. And it's a fine line between those things. Because you just brought up a great point, I thought, with C.J. Henderson, because they did give him a chance, like this regime did. I mean, they went to his house, and they got him to play, and then they tried to get him to play more and be more interested. They stuck with him, even though at draft day we know they had red flags because Tyson Campbell was drafted. So they did give him, and maybe they're doing a little bit of this and giving some rope to a veteran guy who has a good resume. And it probably does change from a guy with a resume versus a guy with no resume. An investment, by the way, too, $3.5 million and a first-round pick in C.J. Henderson. So I get it, but that's a great explanation of that too, and that was probably well said by Joe Cullen at the time because it's true. Let's get Captain Rick in here on a Friday, beautiful Friday. Hopefully it's that way on the water as well all weekend long. Florida Sports and Fishing Report with Captain Rick. What's up, man?
Well, I tell you, that was of all of Austin's great takes, that was probably the best. I can't see. I can't see Vince Lombardi going to Jerry Kramer's house because he was worried that Jerry's heart wasn't in it to try and give them a raw ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
I
wrong.
can't see that.
You're not wrong.
Not wrong.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk fishing because that's something I know a little more about. Pretty darn good day today. In fact, I just got off the phone with the boys in St. Augustine, and the trolling is okay. It's not great. It is early October, which for those of us that have been doing it a long time, we've got to look at this more like September because it's just the water temperature is still much warmer than it should be for early October. But Captain Robert Johnson said that the J-hook was out trolling at the stream today. They had 3 or 4 mahi, 3 or 4 tuna, some mackerels, several other bites. So action is picking up for the Gulf Stream trollers. Now, a little closer to shore, the bottom fishing is extremely good. We've had a lot of divers this week that have gone down, reported excellent visibility, and shot a lot of really nice mangrove snapper, even a few Cubera snapper and some African pompano. So diving's been good. Flounder fishing's very good downtown. The fish seem to be hung up around the Ortega area. There's quite a few of them there, not so many in the Mayport area. Guys need to be reminded on October 15th, flounder will close until the end of November. It's going to be breezy tomorrow. I don't see very many boats making it offshore, but it's going to lay down pretty quick. Monday will be the laydown day, and I think by Tuesday, everybody will be out again. But one thing you can count on, Monday afternoon, we'll be checking it out, bringing you another fishing report brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing and CSS Landscaping.
Thanks, Captain Rick. Appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, boys.
All right. We'll hear him tomorrow morning, too, 7 a.m. on ESPN 694, the Sportsman Fishing Show coming up tomorrow. That's why, hey, every time I hear Captain Rick, I learn of a new fish, it feels like. African pompano. I've never even heard of that.
I mean, can you eat that? I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea either.
Can I put that in a taco? I mean, how does that work?
I seriously have never heard of that.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. All right. Hey, man, you're out of here. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Enjoy the football with no Jags. It won't be a sad Monday, at least.
Well, it could be, depending on my fantasy teams. A.J. Brown, get better, please.
Oh, very good. All right. Have a good weekend with the family. We'll talk to you on Monday. We're not done yet. Hear from Extreme Wing Sports Grill, Roosevelt Boulevard. More to come in the next half hour. We'll put a bow on the show and then get you ready for a Friday night full of high school action on a beautiful evening here in Northeast Florida. We got the Blitz Scoreboard Show coming up tonight at 9 o'clock. You won't want to miss. Kevin Sullivan joins me next to preview the night in high school football. It's on the way on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy tonight with temperatures in the mid-60s. Mid to upper 80s Saturday with partly sunny skies and breezy winds. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Alyssa Pedjig.
The Weather Meter is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Don't miss Beard's BOGO Wedding Band Sale October 8th through the 24th.
Trevor Noah, back to Abnormal World Tour.
I feel like there should be a rule in America. They should say you can hate immigrants all you want, but if you do, you don't get to eat their food.
Award-winning comedian and host of The Daily Show on Comedy Central, Trevor Noah, live on stage.
No Dominican food, no Asian food, nothing. Only potatoes.
Five-Star Veterans Memorial Arena, Friday, February 11th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. More details at TrevorNoah.com.
Get back to high fives and family reunions. Get back to hugs and happy hour. Get back to game day and Sunday service. Get back to being Jax. No matter how much we wish, we can't go back to the time before COVID. But we can reset by getting the vaccine. The vaccine is safe. It's effective. And the more you know, the more confident you will feel in your decision. So get the facts about the vax. Visit getthefaxjax.org.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports. Pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing, they have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent. With help from Family Support Services of North Florida, you provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
The Florida Department of Elder Affairs, in coordination with the state's health and human services agencies and local stakeholders, is making sure homebound seniors get their COVID-19 shots. If you or someone you know is unable to leave the house, let us come to you. Residents may call 1-800-96-ELDER to reach your local area agency on aging. This message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Got a business trip, long weekend, or maybe you just really want to try that new Toyota before you buy it? Then get it all when you rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. With easy online reservations and rental rates as low as $19.95 a day, there's nothing stopping you from hitting the open road in a new 2021 Toyota. So rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Try it before you buy it and reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
The Community Spotlight Award this week goes to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes. Law Offices of Ron Scholes is a partner in the community. They're a huge supporter of the military and those that have served. If you see Ron Scholes or anyone from the Law Offices of Ron Scholes this week, thank them for being a great partner in the community. The Community Spotlight Award recognizes those that are great community partners. Again, this week the Community Spotlight Award goes to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes. Congrats to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric, twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Prices are falling at Beard's Diamonds.
Starting Friday, October 8th, buy one, get one is back at Beard's Diamonds.
No other jewelry store in North Florida can match it. Buy any band and get the other band free.
Yes, it's a buy one, get one free on wedding bands.
For 17 days only, October 8th through the 24th.
And only at Beard's Diamonds.
Beard's has brought in cases of inventory with the latest styles from the hottest designers just for the sale.
It's the largest selection of men's and women's wedding bands in North Florida.
You can save thousands. Buy any wedding band and get the other band free.
October 8th through the 24th, and only at Beard's Diamonds.
If you're getting married soon or want to upgrade your wedding bands, now is the time during Beard's Buy One, Get One sale, October 8th through the 24th.
Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed, at Beard's Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a legit product. The key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Nugenix samples are not available in stores, so text FORCE to 42424 right now. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424.
ESPN 690, Bozard Ford and Ford's Garage are proud to present Be the Sun, Not the Salt. Do you know any coaches, teachers, or mentors who are doing all the good they can in the community and should be recognized for it? You and your nominee can win free stuff just for being sunny, not salty. Details and registration on WOKV.com. Sponsored by Be the Sun, Not the Salt, Bozard Ford, Ford's Garage, and Cox Media Group.
It's devastating, heartbreaking. These guys... Usually I'm not wrong about stuff like that, I just see a good team in there. I see good guys. I see good hearts. I see guys at work. And I told them I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong about that stuff. This team's going to win some games.
That is Urban Meyer after a fourth loss in a row for the Jaguars to start the season. 19 in a row now here in Jacksonville. So we let that go for a little bit, and we get to bring a smile to our face and talk some high school football. Instead, let's do that. Brent Martineau here at Extreme Wing Sports Grill. Austin Lane done for the day. We are just beginning a night of high school football. We do that with Casey Kurtz back in the studio, of course, and also with our Hall of Fame head coach, Kevin Sullivan, and he joins us right now. All right, Sully, 4th and goal.
All right, man.
Would you go for it? Did you like the play? Should you kick the field goal? You playing conservative?
Well, I think I like going for it, because we had all the momentum. The Jags had all the momentum going in. I didn't particularly like the call. You've got a back that's dominating. We're moving the ball pretty good. Maybe some play action. Maybe get Trevor out of the pocket for a run-pass read, or maybe just bring in an extra fullback or an extra H-back and just give the ball to James Robinson, or get underneath the center and run sneak. You know?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I had no problem with them going because we had all the momentum. But then again, in the NFL, Brett, points are important, and those three, we kicked it there. And again, we don't have a proven kicker, but I think he could have made that. You can always second guess that. You can always second guess, but if it works, then we're up 21-0, and it's probably a win last night. So,
all right, take us behind the scene on a Saturday morning in high school football after you guys play and you lose a close game, or maybe even you win. Did the staff have some heated discussions about play calls and stuff like that?
Sometimes they did. Some guys, sometimes they'd ask me, the good thing about with me anyways is, I call the offense for almost my whole time, and with some input from guys, and we'd sit down and we'd go through and break everything down. And, probably Saturday morning we would always meet, and we would get together, and we would be like, I would already have played the game, watched the game, number one, and already replayed it in my mind probably twice, whether we won, close, or lost, and try to be like, in this situation we didn't stick to the plan. I don't know why we did this, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Sometimes you get heated, more disappointing, and either not staying in the plan or getting caught in the emotion of, oh, man, we're just going to do this, and that's what we're going to do. So always had good guys upstairs that would keep pretty level and even keel on everything. So, you get back, you get going on Saturday and watch the film and get everybody out of there by, say, 2, and then give them the rest of the weekend off and come back on Monday ready to go.
All right, well, it's been working for some of the programs around here. Each and every week I feel like we're talking about the Bishop Kennys and Hilliards now of the world, and Bishop Kenny's got Baker County tonight. Creekside has Mandarin on homecoming down there. They're undefeated. We got a big one, man, Trinity and Bolles. This is the beauty of this new format, right? I mean, this gives us Trinity and Bolles, where my early years here in Jacksonville, we didn't get this kind of game. Most recently, we've had Reigns and Bolles go, and Trinity's willing to play anybody. But I got to love this matchup between a lot of talent and obviously two proud programs. Who's got the edge here tonight, you think?
I want to say that I think Bolles' experience tonight gives them a little bit of the edge, and probably special teams. I think in games like these, I think special teams are big, without a doubt. And Bolles' experience even though Colin Hurley's played well and played quality opponents as a freshman, he's going to get into a local game with a lot riding on the line, a lot of bragging rights, a lot of private school bragging rights also. So I think that the experience of Bolles tonight and possibly special teams, but I'm not counting Trinity out at all because they've really turned it up a notch offensively.
Yeah, they have, and Colin Hurley's been part of that. I mean, you shared a note with me. 3 out of the top 5, I think, or 3 out of the top 13 statistically in the area are freshmen. Got some young quarterbacks playing varsity ball and playing pretty well, and Colin Hurley's probably the most talked about one.
Right, yes, and Jones at Mandarin has had a really good year, and he's sort of watching him on film. He's still a little awkward in the position, but he does move around pretty good and throws the ball. And then Burrows down at Fleming Island, I believe, is our other young man that's really come on and taken the reins in the last couple of weeks. So another proud program down there that's getting back on the winning side at Fleming.
Yeah, and I think Coach Kevin Sullivan with us, it's interesting. We see more younger players playing in college, heck, we got it in the NFL, it seems like, but also now in high school that's filtered down, right, where you're not afraid to play a young quarterback. I mean, the skill set of these kids, the 7-on-7s, the bigger, stronger, faster. Sure, you want the experience, but it bodes well for down the road for Trinity, of course, playing Hurley. I think about Mandarin and Tremel Jones. I mean, this is a guy that Bobby Ramsey is really high on.
Yeah,
I'm not
really
sure people are going to notice this year as much, but you watch him over the next couple of years, I think you're going to see that. Heck, there's some sophomores playing good football. Resar, right out of Bishop Kenny, he's a guy that had some playing time last year, and now he's getting it done, and Bishop Kenny's undefeated again. They got a big one tonight. So you're just not afraid to play the young kid anymore, I guess, it seems like.
No, I think, nowadays, like you hit on it, the 7-on-7 and the individual quarterback coaches and stuff, those kids might be a little bit more progressed, and they get into the right situation for them as far as being around a team with a lot of senior leadership. I know Bishop Kenny has a lot of senior leadership. Ressard's a sophomore doing a really nice job over at Trinity with Colin Hurley. That staff's been around. Those kids have been in that program. A lot of those kids have been in that program, sixth grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, like they've been in there. Some of them haven't been in that long, but there's a lot of winning tradition. So to be able to get a young kid and mold a young kid in your system, in your program, only bodes well for the future and also for the guys around him as they continue to grow and move forward and everything. And so it's pretty neat, though. I mean, especially those 3 young men having the success they're having.
Yeah, that's talented guys, and that's good. A good recruiting class potentially down the road. A crop of quarterbacks coming out of Jacksonville. That can be a cyclical thing in this area. We mentioned the Trinity Bolles game. How big it doesn't matter if somebody loses that game. For me, right? I mean, both are going to go to the playoffs. Both, it's going to look good regardless. Playing a game like that. Does it mean something more to win that game? I mean, outside of bragging rights, I mean, could it propel them to a new level if Colin Hurley plays well and beats Bolles? I mean, everybody wants to beat Bolles. You know what? Everybody also wants to beat Trinity Christian.
Trinity, yeah. Yeah, no, I think what's good about it is finally we're getting, like we have talked about every week, that we're getting all the top programs to be able to play each other and not being afraid to play each other and not just trying to schedule wins, trying to play quality people, which only makes the football better. I mean, both these teams are probably making deep playoff runs. And so why not get battle tested against somebody in your area, somebody that kids are all familiar with? All those kids play in Pro Impact on the 7-on-7 stuff, and they're all intertwined together. And so they all know each other. You know how when we were kids, Brent, we might have known the kid that was on the other team, but we didn't know the kid, go throw with him at the park, go work out with a kid. These guys all work it, so they all know each other. There's a lot of respect. So there'll be a lot of respect at this program for both guys. Not only the coaching staff, so be a lot of respect for each other, but also the kids playing the game. So this is one of those games where it's a win-win for both. Somebody's going to win, of course. Somebody's going to lose. But in 5 weeks, they may look back and say, boy, that Bolles game really helped us. It really helped us with the way we blocked our run game. We had to change something, and that may help them later on down the road to win the state championship, get into the state championship game. Both teams, it should be real exciting.
Yeah, a couple other games. Rains, Parker, Baldwin, Episcopal, Inglewood, Riverside, Baker County, Bishop Kenny. I'll be at the Inglewood, Riverside, and Baker County, Bishop Kenny game tonight. Fleming and Ponte Vedra, Mandarin, Creekside, Ribault, Yulee, And then you got some other ones like Sandalwood at Oakleaf. That should be a good game, too. So those are where our campers are at for the Friday Night Blitz tonight. So we'll have a lot of action from around the area.
Yeah, the thing about that, some of these guys, district-wise, Sandalwood can't afford another district loss in that 8A district with Oakleaf, and Oakleaf hasn't had a district loss, so Sandalwood can't afford. If they do, they're pretty much done district-wise. Mandarin, the same thing with Creekside. Creekside undefeated. Mandarin has a district loss, so you don't want to lose that one either. So, and there's a couple that, to me, the most interesting four tonight is Rains and Parker and Rebolt and Yulee, because that's basically their district, those four teams.
Yeah, no doubt.
To me, that's a big matchup. The winner of those two get in a really good set. You lose that one, your back's against the wall trying to get in as a district champion. You could get in it with the RPI through Max Preps, but those four are very intriguing tonight.
Yeah, so some critical, kind of like make or break moment here in Week 6 of the high school football season in some of those district matchups. All right, Coach, go get some dinner.
All right, buddy.
We'll see you back here at 9 o'clock tonight.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
All right, that's Kevin Sullivan, our coach, and we'll have the Blitz scoreboard show. Here's the lineup. If you haven't, I'll tell you, last week was such a great example of the show. I mean, we take it to the end of some of the games. I think it was Baker County Mandarin last week. We took you right to the end of that one. It ended on the 6-yard line. Mandarin would hang on for the win over Baker County. And then we have Coach Pate on from Hilliard, and he's coming up from Crescent City, and he was just a barrel of laughs, man. We had a lot of fun. And then we get to do committed to the uncommitted and talk about a guy like Ben Bogle, who's really what high school football is all about. Make sure you check out the show. I keep telling you about it, one, because we'd love for you to listen and watch the show, but I think you'll like it. It's different. It's not what everybody else is doing. And so tune in 9 o'clock. And you got to watch it on social media. That's the way to do it. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. The Blitz Scoreboard Show, 9 until 10:30. And we will take you to live action from around the area. That's what we'll do on that show, plus analysis from Kevin Sullivan. Some scores, of course. If you are just in your car, you get all of that as well. Coaches will call in. But if you get to watch on social media or you go back and watch it, you get to see a whole bunch more. And then that walks right into the Friday Night Blitz, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:20 on CBS 47, and Fox 30. So high school football coverage tonight, we've got you covered all around the area. When we come back from Extreme Wing Sports Grill, we put a bow on the show, and this week, a weekend off from the Jags, folks. You might need it, but there's a lot of other football going on. We talk about it when we come back on ESPN 690.
Keep climbing.
It's intercepted. Picked off of the 12. He will go down. He signs the promised land. Touchdown, FSU.
This is your home for FSU football.
Outside the numbers to the 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. It's a touchdown, Florida State. Intercepted. Picked off of the 33-yard line. Noles win. Noles win.
Catch live coverage of the Seminoles all season long. Right here on your home for Florida State football.
Sponsored by Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue. Smoked for hours. Served in minutes.
The American Freedom Tour is coming to Jacksonville. I'm Dean Black, chairman of the Republican Party of Duval County, and it's time for Republicans to get motivated and defend freedom. 2 historic days, Friday and Saturday, October 8th and 9th. Come see Donald Trump Jr., Kayleigh McEnany, Dan Bongino, Dinesh D'Souza, and many, many more. Get your tickets now at DuvalGOP.com. I will see you there.
Temperatures keep climbing, and hotter weather means your body needs more water. Stay hydrated. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure the water you and your family drink is cleaner, healthier, and tastes great. It starts with the Connecticut system, proudly made in America and installed by the pros CGC Water. Not sure about your water? Call CGC. They'll analyze your water for free. I haven't had to worry about my water since I got mine installed because Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of the contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, non-electric twin tanks that use less salt and water during regeneration. Save up to $500 on select softener and RO systems this month. Financing available with approved credit. Call CGC Water at 904-552-1242. Call and ask about Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Tell them Brent sent you and find out all the details and all the great ways you can save. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
CMG Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit cmglocalsolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. That's cmglocalsolutions.com or call 904-245-8878.
Beards Diamonds has been busy this fall, getting their showcases ready for the largest inventory of wedding bands in North Florida.
So if you're getting married soon or want to upgrade your bands, don't miss Beards Diamonds' incredible buy one, get one wedding band sale.
October 8th through the 24th, and only at Beards Diamonds.
All wedding bands are buy one, get one free. Save thousands.
Plus, all stackables, all right-hand rings, all eternity bands, and more are buy one, get one free.
See hundreds of the latest styles from famous designers at beardsdiamonds.com.
It's the largest selection of wedding bands in North Florida at the guaranteed lowest price.
Couples wait for this sale all year.
Buy any wedding band and get the other band free.
Now you can go bigger and better with the band she's always dreamed of during Beard's Buy One, Get One sale, October 8th through the 24th.
Get the lowest prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed at Beards Diamonds.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Are you looking for a venue to celebrate your special occasion that guests can't stop talking about? Call Riverside North Special Events and Banquet Hall. We specialize in anniversaries, weddings, birthday parties, corporate meetings, family reunions, fundraisers, graduations, and funerals. This unique, all-inclusive, full-service venue is the way to go. Call us today at 354-4162 and let us book your next event. All proceeds from bookings benefit the Clara White Mission.
Men, do you feel embarrassed in the bedroom because of ED or PE? Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution.
I'm Dr. Brown. 98% of patients experience a positive result from the treatment in just 10 minutes after just one office visit. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call Prime Men's Medical Center at 904-664-8217. See results on your first visit guaranteed or pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
The Community Spotlight Award this week goes to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes. Law Offices of Ron Scholes is a partner in the community. They're a huge supporter of the military and those that have served. If you see Ron Scholes or anyone from the Law Offices of Ron Scholes this week, thank them for being a great partner in the community. The Community Spotlight Award recognizes those that are great community partners. Again, this week the Community Spotlight Award goes to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes. Congrats to the Law Offices of Ron Scholes.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Tough one. Yeah, I don't know the extent. I heard it's a broken ankle, and he's starting to play well, and that's a big one. And then AJ Can, we don't know the extent, but it's MCL, and we're not sure the extent of the knee injury.
That is Urban Meyer, and really for well, I shouldn't say the first time, because now you start looking, it's funny how in the NFL it can add up so quick. Brent Martineau, Extreme Wing Sports Grill here in Roosevelt Boulevard. Remember, 4 locations for Extreme Wing Sports Grill. All weekend you can watch your football on Saturday, on Sunday, of course, and each and every day. Come on out to Extreme Wing Sports Grill. 4 locations. This one, Roosevelt Boulevard, St. Johns County, 210. Also Ocean Way and Atlantic Boulevard as well. So make sure you stop on out to Extreme Wing Sports Grill and try the wings. They're awesome. I try different ones usually, well, most of the time. I might lean on some favorites on occasion, like today. The thing about the NFL, Casey Kurtz, is the injuries can look good for a bit, and then boom, it hits you. And the Jags looked okay going into that final preseason game, and then ETN, and then you even go with the regular season. You're like, okay, so ETN's a big blow. We all understand that, but at least they don't have a bunch of injuries like some other teams did. Well, now here you're a month into the season, and you start looking at this offense. They were supposed to have ETN. DJ Chark is done for at least a while, if not the year. and A.J. Cann goes down at right guard. And again, I think A.J.'s a little bit underrated at times for a lot of for people on that offensive line. They do have a guy in Ben Barch that's now second year and probably capable. But now you look at the offense and what's around Trevor, and you lose a weapon. You obviously lose a big guy out of the playbook in ETN, and now you lose a right guard. It can add up in a hurry, and that's something to keep an eye on. How much will DJ Chark, losing him, impact the receiving game of the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, and I mean, it stinks, first of all, for DJ Chark, right? Because obviously what this year meant to him, and it's unfortunate to see him get hurt on a play that he really had no business being involved in. Obviously, he was trying to make a block and help his team, so that's unfortunate. But I think one thing, obviously, you don't want to see A.J. Cann get hurt either, but you guys said earlier that the offensive line, you thought the offensive line was good last night. Well, at least you're not sitting here saying, well, it was good besides Ben Barch when he came in. So maybe Ben Barch played it well enough to build on something and can fill in for A.J. Cann for as long as he needs and play at least up to the standard of A.J. Cann.
Well, speaking of DJ Chark, I talked to him yesterday after the game for very brief. I just saw him coming out of the locker room. He was in a boot and on crutches. And I tell you what, he's in really good spirits. I mean, he was smiling a little bit, and I just gave him a fist bump, said, sorry about that, man. He's like, hey, it's football. It's part of the game, you know. But to your point, it's a big year for him, and he has been very good about deflecting that. But the bottom line is it's a business, and this is a tough game. You got to make your money when you can make your money. He just lost a lot of money now. And I mean, potentially he wasn't playing well enough to make as much as we all thought, but he could have still put up some numbers the rest of this year and really came on, and Urban Meyer said he was starting to play well, and now he doesn't have the opportunity to do that. So regardless, he's going to lose a good amount of money because if he signs back with the Jaguars, it'll probably be on a more moderate deal. If he signs with anybody, it'll probably be on a show-me deal. I guess there's a small chance they could franchise tag him, but that'd be spending a lot of money on a receiver who now 3 out of 4 years hasn't put up a bunch of numbers for you. So I think the situation got murky now on the DJ Chark front, especially with the future here in Jacksonville, but also just about making a ton of money. Chark just said this on Twitter about 20 minutes ago. Wouldn't have guessed this for year 4, but I thank God for another opportunity to show resilience and perseverance. New journey, same mission. Thanks for the prayers, he says. Tough go for DJ Chark. Wishing the best in recovery. And I think he's a good player. So, you know, he wasn't off to a hot start, but I do think he's a good, talented player and very young. So I wouldn't give up on DJ Chark just yet. All right, Casey Kurtz, go get something to eat. Get ready to roll tonight at 9 o'clock for the Blitz Scoreboard Show. How about it?
That's the plan.
That is the plan. For your football needs, come on out to Extreme Wing Sports Grill all weekend long. And we'll be back on the Blitz Scoreboard Show on ESPN 690, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, as well with some high school football action. Leads right into the Friday Night Blitz. We got people going everywhere for some big games tonight, including that big Trinity Bolles game. I'll be in the backyard at Riverside High School. Then I'm going over to see the Baker County Bishop Kenny game. We'll have all the action for you tonight. TV, CBS 47, Fox 30, and also right here on ESPN 690. It begins at 9 o'clock. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening. ESPN 690.